Labor Day game here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees fighting for first place in the division. The Orioles desperately trying to keep their hopes alive for a wild card spot. Wei-Yin Chen takes the mound for the Orioles. They've won more games when he started than any other starter. Can he do it again today? Let's find out. The Orioles on Masson, and we welcome you on this Labor Day to Yankee Stadium in New York as the Orioles continue this road trip with the first of 3 against the Yankees. It is the unofficial end of summer. It is the official beginning of a pennant race. During the Major League season, sometimes it's very hard to actually get a handle on where you are in the chase for the postseason. When you get to Labor Day, it's not hard at all. You know exactly what's in front of you. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and for the Orioles, it is a long way off. If they do not put some win streaks together right now, their chances of getting there aren't going to exist. The Yankees, on the other hand, they are trying to catch Toronto, a team that stays ahead of them one day by a half a game, the next day, like today, by a game and a half. So the excitement of the finish of a Major League Baseball season gets underway on this Labor Day. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and for the Orioles, if we want to take a look at Labor Day numbers, let's compare this year to last year and what a difference a year makes. There is the record. That is a dramatic swing, obviously, for the Orioles. The amazing part of it is, if you look at almost all of the numbers, home runs, runs per game, almost exactly the same. Bullpen ERA, better. The problem, starting pitching. They have not gone deep in games, and the ERA has jumped up just enough, Mike Bordick, to make a big difference.
Yeah, you know, you expect the rotation to really start coming around after the All-Star break, really settling in and establishing themselves, but the rotation went the other way. You know, they went on a stretch of like 36 games where their ERA was close to 6. And here in the last 2 weeks, when they really called on them to step up, it's up over 7. So the rotation has gone south. They're not pitching deep into ball games. They have 67 games this year where they pitched 6 innings or less. So even though the bullpen earned run average is great, I think it's because Buck Showalter managing it so well. But you get behind early, and I think you've gotten to the point of the season where the offense is saying, oh, my gosh, how do we succumb this? How do we overcome this kind of deficit again? And it's starting to show up. This team's really starting to look down. They're not coming in with a lot of fire. Talked yesterday about the importance of scoring first, but when you get behind like 4 or 5 runs early going in the ball game, it's tough to fight your way out.
Well, they've got the pitcher on the mound who has given them the best chance to win a game if you look at the winning record of the ball club when he starts a game, and that's Wei-Yin Chen.
Yeah, you know, Wei-Yin Chen's been consistent all year long, and I think the real good news is he's had success against the Yankees this year. He's pitched very well against this team, and the Bronx Bombers are kind of coming back. And take a look at the numbers. 1-1 with a 2.79. He's had 3 starts against the Yankees this year, and all 3 starts he's pitched over 6 innings. So he's going to need to get deep in the ball game, especially after the last couple outings where the rotation has pitched only, hasn't even pitched past 5 innings. So for him to get out there, get deep into this ball game, and I think if you give this offense a chance late in the ball game, they do have the ability to come back and win games.
And they'll get a little deeper when we get to the game tomorrow, as Wieters looks like he'll be ready to play tomorrow, may be available to pinch hit in this ball game, and J.J. Hardy is going to be back at short tomorrow. Labor Day, a day to grill, a day to have some of those burgers. Most importantly, a day to come to the ballpark. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by your local Mercedes dealership. Record high temperatures expected in New York this week, up to 90, 91 today, 93 tomorrow, same on Wednesday. Take a look at our BGE home game time temperature to start at 87. Humidity down, though. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Beautiful sunny day. A little breeze blowing out towards left field to start the ball game. Matt Wieters taking batting practice today, doing some catching and throwing. And it's not 100%. They didn't feel it safe to try and put him in a lineup for today. Could come off the bench, I guess, and they hope tomorrow he'll be ready. Yeah,
the good news is he's got his batting gloves on. There's a batting tunnel just below the Orioles dugout here at Yankee Stadium, so he can keep it loose if needed, and I'm sure he and Buck Showalter having some words here. Looked like he just said, yeah, it's fine. Hopefully he can use him late in the game for a base hit.
All right, let's take a look at our Maryland Live Casino Inside the Numbers as the Orioles come in, having won 5 and lost 8 against the Yankees.
Yeah, it was offense versus the Yankees. See at home, nice record, 4-2, averaging 6.5 runs per game, a solid batting average of .329. But the road woes, continue. Just a 1-6 record against the Yankees, just over 3 runs per game, and very low batting average. So the offense has to pick it up, obviously, on the road, especially here at Yankee Stadium. And they'll look to turn things around here in this 3-game series.
All right, let's take a look at the Orioles starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Parra, Jones, Davis, Paredes, and Scope, REIMOLD, Flaherty, and Joseph. Manny Machado's had an outstanding season against the Yankees with those numbers.
And let's take a look at Michael Pineda's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 59% of the time, 91 to 96. That's a natural cut on the fastball. The breaking ball is the hard slider, and the changeup at 8% of the time. Michael Pineda just coming off the disabled list with a forearm strain. Missed all of August. Has 10 wins on the season with a .407 earned run average, 127 punch-outs, but just 16 walks on the year. So great command, great control for Pineda. Opponent's hitting .276 overall off him. The lefty's at .261. Ground ball pitcher, 52% of his outs on the ground.
And Pineda, one of those giants on the mound, 6'7", 260 pounds or so. He steps so far with that length of his. By the time he releases the baseball, he's almost on the grass in front of the mound.
Yeah, it really is. Releases it probably a good 6 or 8 inches in front of everybody else with the long arms. You see his delivery right there. A lot of arms and legs, elbows coming at you, so tough to pick it up. Pineda, talk about his time on the disabled list. He'd been hurt, missed a couple years with some shoulder problems. And last season, he only pitched 76 in a third inning. So I think this year that time on the disabled list was more to just kind of save his innings pitched. He's up to 128 right now. And if they want Pineda to pitch in the postseason, they certainly have to watch out for the innings pitched.
They are going after the division lead. They're a game and a half behind Toronto. Toronto's in Boston today. The Orioles 13 games off the division, 6.5 out of the wild card. And we are underway. Manny Machado takes the pitch inside for a ball. Manny working against Pineda. We showed you the big numbers that he has put up overall against the Yankees this season. That will be in there for a strike. Both Pineda and Chen like to get that first pitch strike against a hitter. Numbers go up significantly if the first pitch is a ball, so first pitch strikes matter in this game. That's an off-speed delivery that's going to miss inside at 85 miles an hour. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
You see how Pineda works. Always a little bit of movement, even on his fastball, that cut action. And it surprises hitters, especially if he throws it inside. They don't work it away. It works much like a slider.
That'll go to short. Gregorius up. Whoa, nice pick at first, Bird, with Teixeira out. Bird's getting the chance to play at first base, and a nice defensive play to get it started.
Yeah, beautiful play there. Gregorius showing the range. He's starting to settle in, playing much better for the Yankees here in the second half. Comes up firing down in the dirt, but look at the positioning by Bird at first base. Take a look at the rest of the Yankees defense. Young, ELLSBURY, and Beltran in the outfield. Gregorius and Pirela up the middle. Headley and Bird on the corners, and Murphy doing the catching this afternoon. Take a look at this pick. See the positioning keeping the ball inside his left foot, and the glove stays low and through the baseball. Pretty much textbook there.
Greg Bird started first base. Here is Geraldo Parra. Parra trying to get things rolling. It has been a struggle for him over the past 3 weeks. Real good season average, but his numbers with the Orioles beginning to drop down. And the pitch will be up high and away to him. The left-handers, as Mike noted, 261 off Pineda, and the right-handers 289. 7 home runs surrendered to both lefties and righties. 2-0 pitch. Parra will go after it in the air. High sky, lots of sun. Young is out there. He's got it. 2 down.
Well, one thing the Orioles don't want Pineda to do is settle in. They've had mixed success against him this year. They put some runs on the board, but then again, he had a start where he didn't. He set a record 16 punch-outs and only 1 run in 7 innings. So Pineda, he settles into this ball game, he can be dominant.
2-1 this year against the Orioles. First start, 5 runs, 9 hits, 6 in the third. Second start, 1 run, 6 hits in 7 innings. Big strikeout game. And then his third start against the Orioles, the last one is one that he lost. He only went 4 in the third, gave up 6 runs on 9 hits in an Orioles 11-3 win in that game against Pineda and the Yankees. Adam Jones. Adam will take the pitch, and it will miss inside. So Pineda starting these hitters out in the first inning, falling behind on them. He's been able to come back and get the outs. Adams 7 for 20 with a home run lifetime off Pineda. 2-0 delivery. Ball put up in the air. Infield, second base. Varela is there, and a 1-2-3 inning. When we come back, Wei-Yin Chen's going to make the start against the Yankees. Left-hander on the mound. A busy place. Baseball U.S. Open going on. Here are the starters for the Yankees: Ellsbury, Headley, and Rodriguez. Beltran, Young, and Bird. Murphy the start behind the plate. Gregorius, big story right now for them, and Perella. Gregorius last 10. Look at those offensive numbers.
Now let's take a look at Wei-Yin Chen's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 65% of the time. Velocity times he can bump it up there in the mid-90s. Location is certainly the key. Breaking ball is a slow curve and the hard slider that he has really been on top of here recently. And the straight change 10% of the time for Chen. 8-7 record, but a 3.36 earned run average and 129 punchouts and 35 walks for Chen. His 160 2/3 innings of work, holding opponents down to the 265 batting average, but he has been dominant with runners in scoring position, well under 200.
Chen will go to work against Ellsbury. Ellsbury 8 for 23 off the left-hander, and will take it for a strike. Yankees come in with a good record against lefties. They are 23-16 against left-handed starters. That's the third best win percentage in the majors against left-handers. As a team, 10 points higher batting average wise against lefties than against righties. Ellsbury, usually Ellsbury Gardner at the top. It's Ellsbury and Headley making the start in this ball game today. The left-hander on the mound. Infield will back up with a 2-strike count. Orioles had played him in on the first couple of pitches. Wei Chen in this ballpark here at Yankee Stadium is 1-2 and lost 4. His ERA here in New York is 4.17. 1-2 pitch outside. He carries a 1-1 record against New York this year and a 3-5 career mark against the Yankees. Second start of the year was against them. 2 runs, 4 hits in 6 innings in that ball game. He's had 3 starts this season against New York. That one in left field down the line. REIMOLD going over into the corner, and on the warning track will haul it in. Ellsbury is retired. And our American Standard Who's On Who's Not page. Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities.
Well, Chris Davis red hot this month, 421, 5 homers, 8 RBIs. Chase Headley not so hot last 5 games, just 3 for 17, 176 batting average and 7 punch outs.
Headley is the switch hitter, and the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. For Headley this season, 289 right, 267 left. Power left side, 7 out of the 10 home runs, batting left-handed. Strike called and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Headley with A-Rod waiting on deck. Yankees have won 7 of their last 9 ball games, staying close to Toronto. And during that stretch, the Yankees have been inordinately strong offensively. They have a 7.8 runs per game number with 17 home runs in the 9 games. It's going to be a base hit. Dying quail shot. Too far for Machado. Too close for REIMOLD. Headley's got a single.
Well, these are the offensive numbers you're talking about. The Bronx Bats, and their batting average 254. That's 7th in the American League. The runs per game, 4.9 is second. Runs 182, third. Base percentage, 4th, and the walks, 2nd. Last 9 games, 7-2 with a 7.78 runs per game, 17 homers, and a 375 batting average with runners in scoring position. Yeah, so you leave Toronto, the best offenses in the American League, and then you face the New York Yankees, who have really started to step it up, and there have been some, of course, major reasons why, and this is one of them. Alex Rodriguez has had this monster year, looking to try to get to 30 home runs. Last time he did that was 2010.
1 down, runner on at first base. A-Rod will pop it up. Coming back with room. Tough one as the ball came back. Joseph's got it. And Rodriguez retired on 1 pitch.
Take that. Take a look at the Orioles defense. REIMOLD making another start in left field after hitting the homer in yesterday's ball game. Jones and Parra will join him. Machado and Scope up the middle. Flaherty and Davis on the corners. And Caleb Joseph, who has been the Yankee killer offensively this year, gets to start behind the plate.
So runner at first base now with 2 away, and that will bring Beltran to the plate. What a season he is having with the 50 RBIs, 14 home runs. Shift put on in the infield with 2 down. And Chen's pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Beltran has gone 1 for 9 lifetime against Wei Chen. He's 267 right-handed, 280 left. He too more power from the other side. 11 of his 14 home runs have been hit left-handed. 0-1 delivery, off-speed pitch, 73 in fact, up high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Really slowing the breaking ball down. Might help that fastball play up, especially Wei Chen loves pitching inside to the right-handed hitters.
1 ball, 1 strike count. That's hit hard. That's going to be a base hit. Beltran is on. Stomping at second base is Headley. So the Yankees get 2 on, 2 down.
Beltran has been swinging it. Well, you know, people look at this Yankees team and they wonder why they're close to the top of the division. And the fact that they've been able to stay fairly healthy all season long, but Beltran's offensive production second half has been tremendous. He had a slow start this year. Last 29 games, 333, 6 homers, and there you see, still staying hot. Base hit off Chen.
So Chris Young will get the opportunity. Young getting the start in left field, 2 on and 2 down. And as Mike mentioned, this is where Chen has been better than anyone. Batting average, runners in scoring position at 186. Nobody does it better than that, and he'll try and do it again right here. For Young this year, 254 in these situations for the Yankees, who as a team are 6th in average. That pitch is going to be on the inside corner for a strike, and that'll even it up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Chen has been bothered by the home runs. He's given up the 3rd most homers in the American League, 26. And a fly ball pitcher in this ballpark, you got a real good chance if you can keep it power alleys to center. 1-1 set up away. Pitch came in and it was low. Young gets ahead on the count, 2-1.
Probably the only reason he didn't get that call is because Caleb Joseph wanted it outside. If he set up inside, might have been called a strike, but too much movement there from Caleb to try to retrieve that straight fastball.
2-1, runners off first and second base. Chen's delivery is going to be a looper. Davis has got time. Oh no, nobody called it, and Headley will score. Oh, mercy. Should be a team error. It won't. It'll be a base hit and an RBI for Young.
It seems like these type of happenings become more frequent for the Orioles here in the last few weeks. See Chris Davis getting a nice little break on the ball, but gets turned around, and Jonathan Schoop has really got to take charge on that play. Tough play for a first baseman going straight back. Jonathan Schoop definitely has the angle on that ball, and as soon as that ball is popped up, he's got to take charge and call it. In between there, and a run scores.
Young gets his 39th RBI, first and second still with 2 down. And here is Bird. So let's see what happens. The inning should be over, even though no errors put up. And all these pitches now are extras that Chen should not have to be throwing. Bird's got a 4-game hit streak coming in with Teixeira out on the DL. Bird gets a chance, and the pitch will be outside to him. He combined this year in the minors 277, 12 home runs, 52 RBIs. He played both AA Trenton and AAA Scranton for the Yankees in the minors this season. And with Teixeira's injury, a great chance to get some playing time in for Bird. And that will be a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, Bird certainly doing a nice job in his opportunity here with the Yankees. With great defender. You saw that nice pick over there at first base. Big kid, so a nice target for the infield.
5th pro season. 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss. Bird invited to spring training as a non-roster invitee this year by the Yankees. He was their 5th round choice in the 2011 player draft out of Grandview High School in Colorado. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Beltran Young, the base runners, that will be fouled off. Launches itself into the seats, and the count stays at 2-2. Amazing thing is that as good as Teixeira had been playing, 79 RBIs, 31 home runs, they have continued to win with him out of the lineup. That's a great tribute to the ball club as a whole.
Well, I think the Yankees organization was tested a little bit more this year than in years past.
Yeah.
And
he got him. So a swinging strikeout. That'll do it, but a run in that shouldn't have been. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 are left on base. Yankees get the early lead. $500 for being selected, $500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. Play baseball bucks scratch-offs today. Win up to $50,000 instantly. Learn more, mdlottery.com/baseball.
See Bobby Dickerson having a little conversation right there. Scope's having a little conversation talking about that fly ball that dropped and led to a run. Bobby Dickerson immediately went over to Jonathan Scope and said, hey, man, you got to take that ball. I don't care if Chris Davis got a good first step. That is your priority. And a better angle, better look at the ball. Don't be embarrassed. Get the outs.
Yep. So the Yankees up 1-0. They move the infield around with Chris Davis coming up. Chris with a hot bat. A 5-game hit streak for Chris. He's 8 for 19 so far in September with 5 home runs. It's a .421 batting average so far this month. So that has pumped his average up. Pineda's delivery will be up high for a ball. He's had 3 hits off the Yankee starter, and 2 of them have been home runs. He is 3 for 14 lifetime off Michael Pineda. Outfield deep and straight away. Davis will take the pitch inside for a ball. Gets ahead on the count 2-0.
Chris Davis starts squaring up baseballs and gets into a nice little roll like he is right now. He's one of the most dangerous hitters in the game. He can just put on a show.
Big cut on that one. He leads the league in home runs. He's got 40, one ahead of Nelson Cruz. Cruz has been out with a quad problem, and the Mariners expect him to be back in today. Should be playing in their ball game. Cruz one behind Davis with 39 homers. Pitch is taken down low. Donaldson and Chris continue to be the only 2 who've reached the century mark in RBIs. Donaldson the leader, 114. Chris has got 100. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Pineda's delivery came inside on him, and that one will be fouled off.
Tough on the lefties. See that 4-seam fastball. Take a look at Chris Davis's power zone. Get it in the middle of the plate. He can expand a little into the inner third and outer third. The red is where he just covers a baseball. Ball gets put into that red spot. Most likely Davis is going to tear the cover up.
And he'll draw the walk. Something else, of course, he's done a good deal of. That'll be his 63rd walk, and that will tie him for 7th in the league. This Saturday, the Orioles take on the Royals. It's a 1:05 afternoon matinee. First 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Birdland knit scarf. Tickets for the Saturday game, yours to get at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. That's a Saturday matinee. A lot of games being played in the majors today in the daytime. And that's obviously not the norm, but because of the holiday games, traditionally baseball is played under the sun. 11 of the 15 games on the Labor Day schedule will officially be day games that start before 4 o'clock. Jimmy Paredes, the DH. Orioles get the man on, leadoff man here in the 2nd inning. And Paredes takes it. It's a fastball for a strike.
Paredes starting to heat back up a little bit after that torrid start to the season. Cooled down over the middle of the summer. Lost command of his strike zone, but looks like he's getting back into it. And I think a nice start here today against Pineda. He's 4-4-6 off Pineda this year.
4-game hit streak coming into the ball game. He's 4 for 9 in September. Make it 5 for 10. Davis will make the turn, easily get third. Ellsbury will get it in, and the Orioles cover the corners here in the 2nd inning with nobody out.
There you go. Nice start here. Chris Davis talked about his numbers. So Pineda, the rare walk, kind of pitching around him. And Paredes, who started to heat up. Well, his 5th hit in 7 ABs against Pineda. Chris Davis, big man, can run, easily going 1st to 3rd.
Well, the Orioles trailing 1-0. Pick up their first hit, and Jonathan Scope will try and get the runner in from 3rd base. Chris Davis. Jonathan, a 1 for 7 off Pineda, putting up solid numbers as the season rolls along, hitting the ball hard. He is 250 in these situations on the year, and Pineda working out of the stretch. Ball will be put up in the air into foul territory and out of play. Pineda nowhere near the number that Wei-Yin Chen has with runners in scoring position. In fact, he's the opposite. 315 batting average by opponents with runners in scoring position. His numbers jump precipitously on the situations. Bases empty, 264. Somebody on, 298. Scoring position, 315. Don't get the first strike, 292. He gets it, 232. So all those rules in the so-called book apply to Pineda. He goes by the book.
Yep.
Not as good out of the stretch. Not as good with runners on. Not as good with runners in scoring position. Not as good if he doesn't get the first strike. 0-2 count, first and third. Infield double play. Depp will surrender the run. And that's over the screen.
So Pineda, after spending about all of August on the disabled list, this is his third start, so still trying to bounce back a little bit, get his legs underneath him. So the Yankees just want him strong, hopefully for the postseason, but certainly needs to tune himself up here this month. The Yankees are really not in a position to take their time and tune players up. They need to win-win. Looks like the Orioles need to win-win.
0-2, got it. That's going to go to left field, into the corner at the wall, and goodbye, home run. Jonathan Schoop delivers a 3 RBI shot for the Orioles, and they take the lead 3-1.
Well, Schoop, part of giving the one up to the Yankees in the last inning. He'll trade 3 for it. Nice swing for Jonathan Schoop, and the power continues to be impressive. His 12th long ball of the year. Slugging percentage well up over 500 for Jonathan Schoop. His power hitting second baseman in the game.
Schoop got a hold of that one, and he launched it. Third home run he has had in his young career here at Yankee Stadium. And the Orioles get a 3-1 lead.
Take a look at Schoop's home run swing. Boy, Murphy wanting that fastball away, and it comes on the inner third, and he is hunting heater. Catches it out front.
Nolan REIMOLD fouls it off at the plate.
Another look here. Boom. Contact. And everybody knew it was gone. Except maybe Chris Davis, who went back and tagged up. Pineda knew it. See the frustration there.
Well, the Orioles, who have lived and died by the home run, get one from Jonathan Schoop to get the lead. Nolan REIMOLD again chops it foul at the plate. That'll be the 15th home run surrendered by the Yankee starter. 8 of those hit by right-handers.
And you see Jonathan Schoop obviously feeling good about that 3-run home run, but think about this past inning for the young second baseman. Bobby Dickerson got in his ear, let a ball drop. Things could have started snowballing for the young player and even this team, but he responds with the big shot and lifts everybody's spirits.
REIMOLD will fight it off. Nolan's had a 2 for 6 against Pineda and against the Yankees this year, hitting .278. So that's one of the reasons he is in the starting lineup today, getting the start in that left field position where the parade of players has continued all year. 0-2, and that got him. Nicked him on the way by, and he is on, and the first 4 batters here in the second inning have reached against Pineda. And Larry Rothschild will go out and try and put an end to that.
That home run might have gotten into his head. See the frustration there. Got to find a way to regroup the troops, settle back into the strike zone. Pineda never hits batters. He leads the American League in strikeout to walk ratio with 7.94, but he walked Davis to start this inning off, and now hitting REIMOLD. Rothschild out there to try to settle his big starter down.
Third hit batter of the year for Pineda. He missed almost the entire month of August with that forearm strain, and his numbers are very different. After the break, his ERA is 4.53. Before the break, it was 3.74, so it's almost a run a game difference. He was 7-3 before the All-Star game and has gone 3-5 since. Here is Ryan Flaherty. As teams now are doing on a regular basis, the shift is on in the infield against Flaherty. They will keep Headley close at third to try and take the bunt away, but he drags it. Beautiful bunt. Nobody's going to get there, and a base hit. Great drag bunt by Flaherty. who went into the teeth of the defense that time, but put it right where you want to put it.
Boy, that is perfectly placed by Ryan Flaherty. He works with Wayne Kirby on this bunting every day, and he gets it down in the right spot. You got to get that first baseman to vacate. He does, and then it's just a foot race. Ryan Flaherty outrunning Pineda and the second baseman, Pirella.
So, a little conversation, Headley, as to whether or not they'll try and go for a force play at third should Caleb Joseph bunt. But Caleb Joseph's got a lot going for him in this at bat. With runners in scoring position, hitting .369 and a .500 batting average against the Yankees this year. And that's a legitimate number for Caleb. First and second, still nobody out in the ball game. Pineda running into lots of trouble here in the second inning. He does square. He does drop it. It's a good one. Pineda's got to hurry. He'll get it there. No, foul ball. Home plate umpire immediately had jumped out. Clint Fagan saying, no, that's a foul ball. Hit him in the box.
I don't know if he made that call or if Murphy behind the plate. Take a look. Caleb Joseph, nice positioning. Yeah, the ball goes down and catches his shin, but he's off and running. Murphy comes out to field it. Headley comes in from third base. Well, they all kind of gathered out there around the baseball. That's when the home plate umpire, Clint Fagan, said, no, foul ball, bring it all back.
Talking about Caleb's numbers against the Yankees, he is 15 for 30, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs against the Yankees this year. Headley will still play the bunt at third base. Bird has moved in at first. They've got the wheel on. Shortstop's covering third. A look there, no play, and a good bunt. So Caleb Joseph gets the sacrifice. He will move REIMOLD over to third, and the Flaherty down to second.
You gotta like to see that. A couple bunts in this inning. A little bit of everything. The Orioles play a little small ball. Yeah. They play a little long ball. Heck yeah, they can. Jonathan Schoop hitting the home run. Flaherty the bunt base hit. And here, the sacrifice bunt. Let's get a couple Orioles into scoring position. Nice positioning there. Fundamentally sound execution there from Caleb Joseph.
His third sacrifice of the season. And now Manny Machado with a couple of potential RBIs out there. One down. Manny grounded out, robbed of a hit on a fine play by Gregorius at short, his first time up. Yankees playing in at the corners, back in the middle. Ground ball to third or first. If the runner goes, and REIMOLD does not have to, they would go for a play at the plate if they thought they had one.
Manny Machado has been outstanding this year at using the middle of the field, seeing the ball up and driving it gap to gap. If there's a mistake on the inside corner, he'll turn on it.
That's going to go off the glove of Headley. That'll score 1, maybe 2. Coming to the plate, Flaherty. Here's the throw. Flaherty is out. The result of Headley playing in, and a ball hit hard. It ended up going off his glove into shallow left field. Got backed up by Gregorius, though, and they get the out at the plate. The Orioles will get a run.
Nice play there by Gregorius. Nice aggressive baseball by the Orioles, though. Here, the hanging slider on the inner third. And, yeah, Manny turns on it. Smokes it by Headley. But Gregorius, you do not stop playing until that ball is contained. He gets on it in a hurry. Nice attempt here by Ryan Flaherty to slide that leg around. But see the good tag by Murphy.
Manny Machado gets his 69th run batted into the season. The Orioles have a 4-1 lead. Base hit RBI for Manny. He's the only base runner now with Para up, and there are 2 down. So a very interesting inning with a little bit of everything for the Orioles. A leadoff walk. Davis scored. Paredes followed up a hit, then the home run by Schoop. REIMOLD hit by a pitch. Flaherty lays down a perfect bunt for a single. Joseph sets up the opportunity for the RBI for Machado, who delivers with a single. And a foul tip into the mitt on a pitch down and away. The Orioles get that precious early lead, 4-1.
And making Pineda work as well. The 25 pitches here in this inning. Because he's all over the place. It's the Orioles just executing some fundamentally sound baseball. Quality at bats.
Pitch on the way by Pineda. That's going to be ripped. It's a fair ball into the corner. Beltran going back to get it. Manny Machado heading to third. They'll hold him up, throw to the cutoff man, and into the plate. So Manny held at third base on a rip double by Parra. And the Orioles continue the solid second inning.
Boy, they can put up some big numbers in innings. They start passing the baton. Everybody's confidence starts growing. This cutter just never gets under the hands of Parra, and he gets the bat head to it in a hurry. Loud noise off the bat, hooking down into the right field corner. Manny Machado was thinking about scoring all the way. Dickerson had to hold him up at the end.
Well, the Orioles already 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position, get a third chance. They have batted around, with Adam Jones being the 9th Oriole to come to the plate here in the second inning. And Pineda's given up 4 runs on 5 hits with a walk and no strikeouts. As Mike mentioned, he's got that great strikeout to walk ratio, but not showing up early in this game. Adam Jones now base hit, could score 2 more, and the pitch way outside for a ball.
Forcing the issue right there. 95 miles an hour, yanking it across left-hander's batter's box.
Jones at 250 with runners in scoring position on the year. 1-0 delivery to him. He'll foul that one right back into the screen. Take a look at our Express Stat by Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For locations, visit whywaitAtTheER.com.
The Orioles putting 4 on the board. Yeah, got the 4 spot when scoring 4 more runs. 56-17 record. 3 runs or fewer, just 9-54. So this is where they want to get to. We've gotten here early in this ball game and continue to put the pressure on the Yankees and Pineda.
They won't add to that 15 in a row they've lost when not getting 4. That one a chopper that will go foul, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
See Adams power zone. He likes it up and out over the plate. Get in the red zone, and he can drive you to right field, or he can get the bat head out in front and hook you. Depends on what he's looking for. Typically on the plate is a danger zone for Adam Jones.
Early bullpen action. Brian Mitchell for the Yankees. 7 for 20 with a home run for Jones off Pineda. And he's going to go to third. Hit it hard, but right at Headley into the glove. That'll do it, though. The Orioles bat around here in the inning. They score 4, with 3 of them coming on 1 swing of the bat by Jonathan Schoop. 12 home runs on the year for him. They continue to talk about it with the Dodgers. Runs out after next year. He has said, I do not want to be a lame duck manager. So whether he stays and gets a deal to extend it probably depends on this month. The Mets and National Series, huge implications, of course. Nationals have gained 2.5 on the Mets in 4 days. They're still 4 out. Mets the early lead against the Nationals today. And 105 of 120 division leaders through Labor Day since '95 have clinched a playoff berth. If you've got the lead on Labor Day in a division, the odds of you going are really high for the postseason.
Yeah, really high. And if you want to go, don't think about the 15 other teams that didn't make it.
That's right. I don't think there's much mercy in that regard in Major League Baseball. So the Orioles with a big 4-run, 5-hit second inning batting around give Wei and Chen something to work with here. Murphy, Gregorius, Pirela will be due up here in the second inning. Murphy a 1 for 4 off Chen, goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. Getting work behind the plate in this ball game. He's done a good job for them, and against the Orioles he is 7 for 13. So if you are Joe Girardi and you're looking to give your starting catcher a break, here's a good day to do it based on the numbers. Off speed pitch will be taken up high for a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, as hard as it probably is for Girardi to give McCann a day off, he's having another incredible year offensively. Got a good backup here in Murphy.
Count at 1-2.
There's McCann.
The difference he has made for this ball club. Got here last year, learned the ropes. This year has taken charge of the ropes for the Yankees. Count at 1-2. Yankees 17 games above 500. That's ties the best mark they've had all year in that regard. Last time they had it was last Friday. That'll be popped up and back into the seats, and the count will hold at 1-2. They have been a come-from-behind team, and the Orioles are very aware of that. Yankee ball club has found a way late in ball games to eke out some wins. The Orioles want to add on offensively, and Chen hold him down. Whoa, did he go up for that one? That ladder was just bought this morning. Struck him out.
Take a look away in Chen here, expanding the zone a little bit. And Murphy just thinking about not getting beat on the fastball inside, and expands the zone for strike 3 there, about a foot up and out of the strike zone.
Now we talk about individual players who have helped the Yankees with their success this year. How about DIDI Gregorius? He has perhaps really found his place. Fouls that one back. He's hitting .347 in the last 42 games. That's back in the middle of July. He has been solid defensively, and the chants of Jeter are heard no more, not forgotten, just not heard anymore.
Right, probably a lot of pressure on Didi coming in after Derek Jeter's retirement, and a slow start offensively, but very sound defensive shortstop. Well, total package coming together here in the second half, starting to relax, and been a huge key to the Yankees' success and the reason why they've been close to the top of their division all year long.
Before the All-Star break, he hit .238. Since the break, .327. That is the 5th largest improvement by any player in the American League pre and post All-Star.
Well, they just showed Joe Girardi there, and it's got to make the manager feel good. A lot of question marks coming in on the season about this Yankees team, and whether or not Didi Gregorius was going to be the guy to take over for Derek Jeter, and he's starting to prove to everybody that he can handle it.
Pitch will be taken up and in. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Gregorius to be followed by Pirela, the second baseman, and then ELLSBURY at the top of the order if they get that far. Shift is put on based on the count before that last pitch. 3-2 delivery, and he loops it the other way, foul. Orioles keeping Manny Machado. Better range, stronger arm than Ryan Flaherty, the third baseman, so Flaherty goes over and plays second when the shift is on. Not demeaning towards Ryan, just a matter of fact. That's what you got out there in the infield. Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way, and again looped the other way into foul territory. Wei and Chen breaking off the mound. We've seen that this year, not just for the Orioles, but when you have the shift employed and you got the guy on the left side playing way back at a shortstop position, pop-ups on the third base side, the pitcher's got a break because he may be the only one who can get there.
Absolutely, and you better plant that seed at the beginning of a ball game. Let them know the shifts that are going to be happening, or even when a hitter comes up to the plate. One of the infielders, I would guess Manny Machado, whistles at Wei and Chen and says, listen, I am way over here. You got to cover all that ground on a pop fly.
3-2 delivery to Gregorius, and he got him. So Chen, 3 strikeouts, 3 in a row, and there are 2 down.
Chen's always had a great fastball, but this slider has been developing over the last few seasons, and he is on top of his game here with this. Great location, 84 miles an hour. Perfect spot. The slider's come up as a huge pitch. Pitching coach Dave Wallace certainly loving that.
Varela at the plate, and he'll lash it back into the seats. 3rd stint with the Yankees this season. He had to go on the DL, 7-day concussion DL the last time around. Also had an injury running into a wall on a play. That's going to be to short and a base hit. Machado diving, but hit hard enough to be out of his reach. And Varela's now 5 for 6 against Wei and Chen.
A great try there by Manny Machado, and this is something, you know, that he'll get a feel for. Man, he's got great range. Best third baseman you'll ever see. You got to take extra steps out at shortstop with your range. At third base, it's more creating the angles, and he just misses this by inches off the end of the glove. More time at shortstop, and I guarantee you he'll cut down that ball.
Now ELLSBURY up. Yankees get their 4th hit off Wei and Chen. ELLSBURY flied out his first time up, 8 for 23 off the Oriole left-hander coming into the game. He'll tap that one down to first base, and that one will be foul. Early in the ball game, so any of these runs Yankees can get, they've got time to do it one at a time. So Chen doesn't want that to start here in this ball game.
Well, that's the danger of this Yankees lineup. They are willing to work at bats. Very good at taking a base on ball. We talked about their power. A lot of thump in this lineup.
Ball will go to first. Nice backhand play. Chris Davis. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Orioles in the first game of the 3-game set on top. As you look at Chris Davis,
highest slugging percentage post All-Star break since 1954, and some legendary Oriole names on this list. Frank Robinson leading the way back in '66. That's 690 slugging percentage. Here's Chris Davis, 685. Man, has he been heating up the second half. Most dangerous hitters in the game. Jim Gentile on that list. Mora as well. Chris Davis stepping up when his team needs him. Needs to continue to stay hot through the month of September.
Chris stepped up to the plate to start the second inning and got a leadoff walk. And 9 batters later, the Orioles had 4 runs on 5 hits. And Davis was one of those who crossed the plate. They've got 4 of the top 10 in walks in this ball game, including Chris, who is 7th. A-Rod is 4th. Brett Gardner is 9th. Mark Teixeira is 10th. Teixeira, Gardner not in the game. Teixeira injured. Gardner struggling a bit at the plate. 0-1 delivery to Chris. Pineda got one down and away and gets up on him 0-2.
That little action right there, believe it or not, at 90 miles an hour is what Michael Pineda calls his changeup. So his fastball, 4-seam fastball, has that natural cut action. The changeup that he throws so hard fades away, much like a 2-seam fastball.
Misses with that one. A 1-ball 2-strike count. Pineda, 26 years old, professional major league record, 24-23 coming in. Davis will take the pitch inside for a ball. 1 ball, 2-strike count. Orioles 3 consecutive day games, which rarely ever happens, but the last 2 in Toronto and now the Labor Day game here. Buck Showalter will be happy these players get a little longer rest before the night game tomorrow. And that's inside. It'll be Kevin Gausman, Masahiro Tanaka tomorrow. 6:30 O's extra, 7 o'clock for the game. Then a Wednesday night game. And Baldo Jimenez will be going against CC Sabathia. 6:30 O's extra and 7 o'clock for the game then to conclude the road trip. 3-ball, 2-strike count on Davis. And a swing and a miss. There is the first strikeout Pineda's recorded.
Well, he really pitched Chris Davis tough, and up until this 3-2 count, Davis was showing how locked in he was. But this is a big league slider, 86 miles an hour. Holds its head until the very end, then dive bombs down and in to get Chris Davis.
That is only the 72nd 3-ball count of any kind that he's had in over 540 hitters this year. That's why Pineda, you can tell, a little off early in the ball game. He'd not been getting the first strike. He was going 2-0 on Oriole hitters. He's only had 1 strikeout, and he has that almost 8 strikeout per walk ratio. The Orioles able to catch him in that second inning while he went through a bit of unusual struggles. Jimmy Paredes, 0-2 count, 1 down. Paredes a base hit and a run scored. Orioles DH. Takes it up high. 5-game hit streak for him now with that base hit in his first at bat. Toronto, the early 1-0 lead at Fenway Park in Boston today. 1-2 pitch on the way, and he chased one away, and now Paredes going, whoa, that had some seed on it.
Yeah, best fastball of the game, 96 miles an hour. And this 4-seamer held pretty true up and away. Brady's given chase. Protect with 2 strikes, but that one up and away.
Jonathan Scope, his second hit in 8 at-bats against Pineda in his career, came in the second. That was the 3-run homer. Jonathan on the end of the bat. Bird over with room and puts it away. Quite a game, isn't it? 9 up, 4 runs, 5 hits in the second. 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeout third. PacificSouthwest.com, and by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick, happy Labor Day. Keep that grill going. We'll need some of that chicken, steak, sausage stuff when we're done here. Orioles up by a score of 4-1, and Wei and Chen will be working to the 2-3-4 hitters, Headley, A-Rod, and Beltran coming up. All right, congratulations to the Norfolk Tides. 7 runs first inning against Durham, won 8-4. That clinched first place. And the Tides, the International League South winners, will now meet the West champion. A best of 5 starts Wednesday at Harbor Park in Tidewater. Either Columbus or Indianapolis will be involved as the opponent. They've done a great job, especially with all the players the Orioles have had coming up and down. Ron Johnson, manager of the year. Mike Griffin, the pitching coach. Sean Berry, their hitting coach. Jose Hernandez, the field coach. And the Tides to the postseason.
Yeah, that whole staff there in AAA and much of the AA staff goes to spring training with Buck Showalter and make sure that whatever they take to their team, everybody's on the same page. We've talked past few years about a number of transactions that happen between big league club and the AAA club and even AA, because once you make a move in the minor leagues, everybody is affected. This year, once again, up over 150 transactions in Norfolk. So well, those guys have done an incredible job there.
Headley at the plate, 1-2 count, single run scored, ground ball to third. That's a tough one. What a stop. Ryan Flaherty with the arm off the bag. That'll be, I think, a base hit. Headley right down the line, got the chop on it.
Ryan Flaherty,
they're calling it an error.
Wow, he's been making some great plays down here at third base. Gets behind the baseball, but then drops that elbow a little bit. Ball goes sailing up the line, but getting to this baseball is pretty spectacular in and of itself. With the throw, he knows he's got to get rid of it, so it's just a one-time kind of throw, and pulls Davis off the bag.
So leadoff man on here in the third inning on the error, and here's A-Rod, who popped out his first time up. All right, I'm going to ask you now, a great fielder, major league level, you're the official scorer. Just be neutral. Would you have called that an error?
No.
No.
No way.
Okay. I mean, that's an official scorer's call.
Right.
The guideline being, should a major league player be able to make that play? 0-1 count, short lead at first base. Ball popped up in the air. Third base, short. Who's seeing it? Flaherty. Machado came over, not sure that he had a good view of that, but he did. A-Rod retired, couple of pop-outs. It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Beltran, base hit his first time up. One away. Headley not going anywhere at first base. Pitch inside. While we're talking about the Oriole minor league teams, also certainly want to mention Norfolk and Bowie. They are both going to be in the playoffs, division champions, and Aberdeen has a chance at it depending on today's games. They need a win and they need a little help. So his good wishes to Aberdeen.
Yeah, that Aberdeen Ironbirds team, they've won 4 in a row to put themselves in this position on the last day of the year.
2-0 count. Chen with the high hold and will miss outside with that one. Beltran just 2 for 10. Lifetime off Chen. Chen has real good numbers in not walking people. He is 8th in the American League in walks per 9 innings, only a couple. 3-0 is taken all the way. It is in there for a strike. Chen will try and do the comeback thing here.
Yeah, you come up against some hot hitters, and every team has one in every series. They go over the reports and you find out who you want to be careful with. We'll try and expand the zone early there on Beltran, but seeing the ball well.
Got it in the air to center field. Jones has it lined up. Adam makes the catch. Runner tags. Is going to go. Here's the throw and in. Headley went back and tagged up, seeing Jones having to go towards left, and will get the base on the fly ball.
Well, deep fly ball, and Headley kind of read this. He read Adam Jones, saw how he received the baseball out in center field, and then took off when he saw just a little bit of a hesitation from Adam Jones. Great throw, but just a little bit late as Headley's hand gets in there just before the scope tag.
And by his fingertips stayed on the bag. Buck Showalter is holding it up for a minute while his video people take a look at it. See whether or not he wants to issue a challenge here.
Scope getting himself in a good position.
And he's not going to challenge it. So now a runner on at second base with 2 down. Young got the RBI in the first inning on a base hit, bringing in Headley. Here he is again with Headley on at second base and 2 outs. Chen throttles back a little bit. Young had already turned around to look at the umpire, and there had been no call made. And then he called strike, and Young just kind of stared right at him.
Wei Chen, the first pitch strikes, 10 of 14. That's impressive.
And that pitch is going to miss away. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Wei Chen coming in. That's some solid numbers behind him. 3.36, best ERA he's had in his career at this point of the season. That ball's towards the gap. REIMOLD over, reaching, can't get it. Headley will score. Jones will back it up. Young's got a double and 2 RBIs, 4-2.
To the Yankees runs. Scored because of a couple misplays. Here, Young getting on the fastball. It stays on the plate. Nolan REIMOLD too tight of a line, and he beats it over his head. But Headley with the great base running, taking advantage of Adam Jones out in center field, getting himself in a scoring position.
So that'll be an unearned run. Any run scored here now will be unearned. The inning should be over based on the error called that allowed Headley to reach. Here is Bird, a strikeout victim his first time up. Greg Bird goes after one and pops it up outside of third and into the seats for a strike. So the Yankees get one back. And now have a chance at another if they can get the 2-out RBI. Outfield will give Bird that right field power alley. And the pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. Bird limited chances since called up, getting the starts at first base, 4 for 16 with runners in scoring position. 0-2 the count. Chen's pitch outside. He's got a little bit of that Paul O'Neill stance, does he not?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't hold the bat the same way, but he's kind of got that crouch.
Yeah, big guy.
He
Bit
goes down
of a
in.
crouch.
1-2, holding the runner close. Machado at second base, and that pitch is going to be down low. So not biting on a couple of close pitches, and the count goes to 2-2.
Showing some good patience. You can tell a lot by how young hitters take the baseball. If it's out of the zone, they leak a little bit with the front side. Do their hands drop? Do they lose control of that bat head? They're pretty sound.
2-2 popped up. Second base. Scope is under and puts it away for the out. However, a run unearned, scores on a hit, an error with 1 left on base. really do have hopes that they're going to get a new baseball team there. New York Times are reporting they've got the money, and Major League Baseball is definitely interested. Analyzing the consistency or lack thereof of the Yankees offense, SB Nation talked about it. The Yankees have the largest variance from their average runs scored per game of any team. 15.5 is the variance number. What that means is they score all or nothing in ball games. They tend to get a lot or none. The next team, Toronto Blue Jays, 25% difference. And the Angels' Albert Pujols could be DH the rest of the season. He's got a sore foot. They're actually going to do X-ray MRI on that, apparently. They see what the problem is, but he may not be able to play the field anymore. They're hoping he can at least DH.
Yeah, they need that bat.
Orioles lead here 4-2. Pineda retired the side in order last inning. 4-5-1 for the Orioles, 2-5-0 for the Yankees. Nolan REIMOLD the other way, and foul, hit by a pitch, and scored in this game and yesterday.
A couple hits in yesterday's ball game. Actually broke up a no-hitter and then smokes one out of the Rogers Center. First home run since June 13th.
1-1 delivery by Pineda, and that's there. Pineda seems to have settled in a little bit here since that second inning. He's picked the pace up. Throwing some pretty good fastballs, challenging hitters. That one will just miss. REIMOLD works it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of pitchers, we talk about the ability to get ahead and how important that goes. Well, as a game goes along, if you're pounding the strike zone, middle part, maybe even the end of the ball game, you'll get more early contact, especially if you have the ability to locate that slider. And of course, Pineda has that nice little cutter, so you get a little movement. You and do soft contact with limited amount of pitches thrown.
He's got a 3-2 count here again, and he walked him. And again, the non-Pineda numbers show up in this game. Sunday's game at Oriole Park against the Royals moved from its original 1:35 to 8:05. It'll be an ESPN national game, so see the Birds under the lights on Sunday night. Rematch of the ALCS. You can get your tickets at Orioles.com and exchange information also at Orioles.com or at 888-848-BIRD. Well, the Orioles again getting a leadoff man on against Pineda. Gets 73% of leadoff batters out. Ball put up in the air by Flaherty. Left field, Young. Flaherty 1 for 2 as he flies out. Back to first base goes REIMOLD. The Yankees have done really well in the American League East in their division. They're 32-24. They have a winning record against everybody except Toronto. They are 4-8 against the team that they are chasing, and they have 7 games left to play against Toronto. Caleb Joseph up, swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Good stop made by Murphy. Caleb, a beautiful sacrifice, setting up an RBI in the second inning.
Yeah, that big second inning, Orioles showed you just about everything that they can do. The home run and a couple bunts in that inning.
0-1 the count. REIMOLD not extending his lead. Greg Bergen holding over there. And way outside. Good reach by Murphy, who had to snag that one from behind.
Wow. Made it kind of falling all over the place right now.
It's his third start since coming off the DL. Lost to Houston, beat Boston in those 2 games. 1 run, 4 hits, 6 innings in the last one. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Warm day. You can see both pitchers have been wiping the perspiration off. Base runners 4 for 11 with Pineda on the mound. Murphy's thrown out 25% behind the plate.
And here with the bottom of the order, really run a lot. They don't do a lot of different things, although showing that sacrifice bunt in the second, I think Pineda and the Yankees thinking about the hit and run.
And there he goes. And that will be fouled off. So Buck Showalter kind of changing up the strategy, even though it's been the 3-run homer by Scope that's made the big difference. It's been set up in part by some unusual small ball play, if you will, by the Orioles.
Well, a lot of times it's who you have up there, and I think this is a great sign that Buck Showalter trusts Caleb Joseph not only to execute a sacrifice bunt or a hit and run, but to pick up the sign. It isn't very often that they put on a lot of plays.
1-2 runner not going. Joseph had to pull the hands back in. Still got a lot of that back near the warning track and hauled in by Ellsbury. Easy tag to take second on that by REIMOLD, and Joseph just missed getting the long one. Get in on the baseball action with Masson. Text the word Orioles to 29292 for team alerts. Chances to win exclusive prizes all year long, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Again, Orioles to 29292 for those alerts you can't miss. So Manny Machado with a chance to get that run back that the Yankees picked up in their last half inning here in this 4-2 ball game. REIMOLD down at second base. Machado had an RBI base hit his last time up. He has also grounded out.
Well, the Yankees were able to take advantage of a deep fly ball to center field when Headley tagged up and was able to score later in that inning on a young double. REIMOLD following suit. Nice job tagging at first base, getting himself in a scoring position. Manny picks up a base hit to drive him in.
Orioles 2 for 3 today with these opportunities. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Machado. Had one to jump on, fouled it right straight back into the screen. And Pineda will get ahead of him on the 0-2 count.
There's a difference. Wei Chen, 73.3% of first pitch strikes, and Pineda, boy, been struggling today, just 10 of 18.
Not a good sign for him. And trying to get into it, looking for a strikeout. 0-2. Did not go around.
Hard slider down in the bottom of the zone. Manny checking the swing, and yeah, he keeps the bat head back.
Jordan Baker, first base umpire, helping Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire. Runner off second, REIMOLD, 1-2. Pineda's pitch will be off the end of the bat and out of play. And he's playing in them all, 137th game. He and Kyle Sager of Seattle continue to be the only two players in the American League who have done that this season, been in all of them.
And he's been turning it up a little bit here recently. Buck Showalter challenging him. You want to play every day, you better play hard and do things the right way. And he has certainly taken on this challenge and become team leader. Orioles' most consistent players this season.
And he will take it, and it's there. Well, Pineda gets a strikeout. That will be his third of the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on. Orioles up by 2. Eduardo Encina. Regardless how this season ends, the next month will be important in shaping next year's rotation. The Orioles likely will lose Chen, their most dependable starter, in free agency. Tillman's season ERA is now 5.15. Miguel Gonzalez is on the DL, struggling through the second half. Ubaldo Jimenez has also scuffled since the break, and Kevin Gausman is inconsistent. I think that's a fair, honest assessment. Not that those things can't be turned around by those players, but it makes the decisions in the offseason that much harder.
Yeah, it really does. And it's going to be another crucial offseason. Wei-Yin Chen's having himself a very good year as he enters his first free agency, and it's going to be tough to keep him. Left-handed pitchers obviously in high demand, especially quality lefties.
John Ryan Murphy. One strikeout on him. Murphy struck out his first time up. Gregorius, then Perella. Murphy waiting on it. Chen's delivery is a breaking ball that didn't, and a 1-ball 1-strike count for Murphy this season. Overall 276 off the lefties, almost the exact number against righties. Out of the reach of Machado. Murphy's on, leadoff single. And it'll be 2 innings in a row the leadoff man has reached base. Register now for the Longevity Foundation's Breathe Deep Baltimore 5K walk, raising funds and awareness for lung cancer in memory of the Orioles' late Public Relations Director Monica Pence Barlow. It'll be Saturday, October 3 at the Yard. Proceeds benefit the nonprofit efforts to provide research grants. To register or for information, go to Orioles.com/longevity. That's on Saturday, October 3. Be the final weekend of the regular season. Gregorius, a strikeout victim. Flaherty in at third base. No bunt shown there, and a strike.
It looked like Gregorius looking to turn and burn with that hole opened up after the single by Murphy. But a nice call by Caleb Joseph. First pitch slider well located as he pulls off it.
Flaherty will stay in at third base, and just waved at that one, fooled completely. And the count goes to 2 strikes on Gregorius. 262 against the Orioles this year for the Yankee shortstop. And Gregorius has had plenty of playing time. 129th game for him this year.
Really, one of the things he's improved on is his batting average against left-handed pitching. That was something that has been holding him back as a young player, but he's made some adjustments.
Up the middle, easy swing base hit. Jones holds the runner at second base. Well, there's what we talk about at times, hitters cutting back on their swing behind on the count.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a progression throughout this at bat. First pitch, he let it fly, opened up, and it just kept getting shorter and shorter. And he just had limited body movement there. Just dropped the bat head to the ball. Yeah, found a hole.
Gregorius hit 137 against left-handers last year. He has raised his average by 110 points against them this year. Mike was talking about. So again, the Yankees threatening. They got the potential go-ahead run now at the plate. Perella, the second baseman, a base hit, his first time up. The Orioles are going to play bunt with nobody out. Flaherty is in. Davis behind the runner at first base. Nobody out, 2 on. He does square, breaking ball in there for a strike. Pulled off it, pulled the bat back, and the ball broke in on the outside part of the plate. Boy, we're seeing a lot of strategy employed here in game 1 of this series. Both teams.
Yeah, runs obviously very important to both managers, even with the understanding that both teams very good power numbers.
0-1 count, not showing bunt, and again we'll take the strike. Now the defense can back up. Perella with an 0-2 count. Not had a lot of chances, not a lot of games this year. Drive in a run, 2 for 11. 0-2 pitch to him. Chen has seen hitters going after that pitch up high, so he went after it again. 1-2.
Well, it's a really good pitch. Changed the eye level a little bit. Wei-Yin Chen's slider has become a dominant pitch for him. So not only does he have the ability to locate that fastball, but he can throw the slider off that heater in a lot of chases.
And there it is. Went up for it that time, and that's strikeout number 4 for Wei-Yin Chen.
There you go. Another good fastball to the top of the zone, and there's a couple times in this ball game where we've seen Yankee hitters expand well up and above the strike zone. Tried hard to stay on top, but when it's a foot over the zone, it's very tough to get to.
First and second, 1 down. Ellsbury has flied out and grounded out. .317 hitter against the Orioles this year with a home run. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. Wei-Yin Chen trying to work his way out of an inning where the first 2 reached. Chen's 1-0 delivery. Ellsbury's going to take it to right field, right at Para, who just makes the save. A rising line drive that he almost ran under, but he didn't, and there are 2 down.
Smile about it now, but man, oh man, that ball gets up over his head. Both runs probably score. And that ball is smoked by Ellsbury, and it's still kind of climbing out there. Para thinks it might be sinking. Times sinking line drive, your first step in. Well, this one takes off, and he makes a great athletic play.
So now Chase Headley up with 2 down, and the pitch outside for a ball. Headley .316 with runners in scoring position this year. American League leader Josh Donaldson at .378. 1-0 pitch on the way. Another one he chops at, and a 1-ball 1-strike count. Headley has reached on an error. He's singled and has scored the 2 Yankee runs. Chris Young has both RBIs, 1 on a single, 1 on a double. Orioles have a 3-run homer from Jonathan Scope. RBI base hit by Manny Machado. 1-1 delivery on the way outside.
Trying to work that changeup in here. Second time going through this lineup. Just missing with a couple as they fade off that outside corner.
Two-one delivery on the way, up in the air, center field. Adam Jones. Couple of long fly ball outs, and Headley is retired. No runs, couple of hits, 2 left on. Our Mazda doo-ups, Para, Jones, and Davis.
Last 10 games, oh my, 429, 3 homers, 7 RBI, and 10 runs scored. In 83 games since being called up to AA Bowie, 358 batting average, 13 homers, 56 RBI, 981 OPS, and yeah, he is in the top 5 USA Today minor league player of the year candidates. Why not? Trey Mancini shooting his way through the minor leagues in the Orioles organization.
Day at the Yard, not to be forgotten. 4-5-1 the Orioles, 2-7-0 for the Yankees. 1 unearned run on the board in a questionable call on an error that allowed Headley to reach in the 3rd, and he scored. We go to the 5th inning. Parra will lead it off, a double, and he is flied out. Jones and then Davis due up. Parra's speed recognized by both Headley at 3rd, Bird at 1st as they come in just off that famous cut of the grass. And the pitch taken up and away for a ball. They just had to work pretty hard with the Orioles batting around in the 2nd inning. Leadoff men on in 2 out of the 4 so far. That'll be a strike at the knees on the outside corner. 68 pitches thrown. He's thrown 92 and 71 pitches in the games since coming off the DL. Parra will take that away. A 2-ball 1-strike count. The Orioles looking to get the leadoff man on again. Orioles have won only 1 game of the 7 played here in New York this season. 2-ball 1-strike delivery. Parra goes the other way, foul. Talked about that last weekend of the season for the Orioles. Whatever position they may be in, it certainly looks like Showalter's ball club will be involved again in standings. Toronto in for 4 at Camden Yards. The Yankees finish up with 3 in Baltimore. Hit hard, right to Perella. He'll make the play. Parra's retired. There's 1 down here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that final week, if the Orioles don't start turning it around and lose that hope for the postseason, they can certainly impact the outcome of the East with Toronto coming in for 4 and then the Yankees for 3. Remember, just a few years ago, they kind of turned the whole baseball world upside down when they upset the Red Sox there at the end, and at the same time, Tampa Bay ended up winning and knocking the Red Sox out of the playoffs. And of course, that was the year that ended up firing Francona, and a lot of stuff went down.
Adam Jones 0 for 2. That was probably the most exciting last day of baseball on a MLB level, with so much going on.
Yeah.
While we were doing the post-game show, Tampa Bay won their game. We were waiting for the decision on that. Had the screen on behind us. Longoria, home run. That ball chopped down the 3rd baseline. And it is a foul ball. Pineda makes sure going into foul territory to get it. He's got an 0-2 count.
Adam Jones trying to get another one of those infield hits. He's so good at. Certainly have to respect his power. So infield typically plays a little bit deeper. When Adam Jones reaches out, sometimes tops that ball with a great speed. Able to pick up some infield knocks. That one just rolling foul.
0-2 with 1 down. Davis waiting on deck. Pineda's delivery. Jones will keep it alive with a foul ball straight back. Adam kind of shaking off that wrist. The right wrist, you see, or hand after that swing.
Yeah, so it didn't look like it felt too good there. Keeps kind of getting a feel for whatever's going on.
23 doubles, 25 home runs, 3 triples. A lot of extra base hits. That'll go to right. Beltran coming on to get it. And there are 2 down. Show your orange and black. The Birds take on the Red Sox for the final time 2015 at home with a 3-game midweek series. Monday, September 14 it starts. The 15th, you can back the Birds on Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserves are only $10. Good seats remain at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Chris Davis. 2 down, nobody on. A walk and a strikeout. Now, if he hits a home run, we'll have a complete summary of his season in 3 at-bats.
That's right. A lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of home runs.
Chris leading the league in home runs per at-bat. 1 home run every 12.1 at-bats. Where does that rank? Babe Ruth's number, 1 home run every 11.76. Chris, 1 every 12.1.
See his home runs by direction. He's forward to left field, but plenty capable of hitting many more that way. Great power to all fields.
0-2 delivery on the way. Just the difference in the numbers is the Babe did it for a career.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, that number's for this year. Nice comparison, but yikes. The Bambino started out as the pitcher and then became the Sultan of SWAT. 1-2 count. And there is the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Pineda. He retires the side in order. The Orioles have not had a hit off him since that big 2nd inning.
Young with a little blooper, and there's an O's miscommunication, and that leads to a run as the Yankees make the first mark. Headley scoring 1-0 in the first, but in the 2nd inning, Jonathan Scope redeems himself. He gets a mistake fastball and hammers the 3-run shot out of Yankee Stadium, and Wei-Yin Chen starts to settle in. Big strikeout there. Gets Murphy to chase the high fastball, and how about this slider down and away to Gregorius. Wei-Yin Chen settling in nicely. Remember, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
So a good ball game here for the opener. A 4-2 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. No walks, 4 strikeouts for Wei-Yin Chen. Trying to get his 2nd win against the Yankees this year. He's 1-1. Here's A-Rod. A-Rod's popped up a couple of pitches. He's seen only 4 now in the 3 at-bats. 1 to the catcher, 1 to the 3rd baseman. And the breaking ball taken inside. Is A-Rod an MVP candidate in the American League? if the Yankees go to the postseason. Josh Donaldson is the apparent leader with Toronto.
Well, he certainly should be looked at as an MVP of the New York Yankees for this bounce-back season, but I wouldn't put him in the MVP of the league category. Donaldson certainly doing it all defensively, running bases, tagging up. A-Rod very productive with the bat, but certainly can't run like he used to, and don't see him out on the field anymore.
3 ball, 1 strike count to him. Chen's delivery. He didn't pop that one up. Way back in left field. Goodbye. Home run. 1-run ball game. '29 homers, 77 RBIs.
So the question about A-Rod was, is he still going to be able to maintain that bat speed? Early on in the year, there were some serious question marks, even doubts that he could. Well, got the bat speed back, that's for sure. Turning around a 91-mile-an-hour fastball in, possibly off the plate in. So pulls the hands in tight, hits the bat head to it. And there goes number 29.
We said Wei Chen, a lot of home runs, 3rd most in the league. That's number 27 against him. And A-Rod makes it a 4-3 game. Beltran a base hit and he's flied out. It's just missing. A little bit away and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. 1-1 delivery to him. Check swing and he went around on it. No need to check as the home plate umpire Glenn Fagan makes the call on that one. Number 683 for A-Rod, 4th on the all-time home run list. Pitch will be taken down low. And with that home run, he passes Rod Carew for the 23rd spot in hits. 3,054. 2-2 delivery on the way, and he was going for a tie game and missed it.
That 4-seam fastballs worked very well for Chen up at the top of the zone. And some of the young hitters out up there, and gets a salty veteran in Carlos Beltran swinging at the high heater.
Against the Yankees, Wei Chen in his starts, 4 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, and 3 strikeouts. That is the 5th he has had in this game. Chris Young will take a pitch for a strike on the outside corner. Big day already for him with a double single and 2 RBIs as the Yankees have scored them 1 at a time. 0-1 pitch by Chen. Ooh-ah. Up in the strike zone at the letters, called strike. So Chris Young draws a line on the inside part of the plate.
Yeah.
Not to tell the umpire it wasn't there, but that will be inside.
A tough pitch to get to. That fastball up and in, and possibly just off that inside corner.
1-2 delivery on the way, and Chen trying to work it in out, misses away, and a 2 ball 2 strike count from Wei. Chen has been practically effective and efficient in this game. Down to third, it's a long throw. Flaherty's got it, and he's got the out. Talking about the Yankee comeback wins earlier, take a look at the numbers in that regard.
Yeah, they can do it. Highest percentage of comeback wins this season. Phillies up over 50%. Padres, but they're the Yankees. 47.4% of their wins by way of comeback. Did it this weekend against Tampa Bay. So they are never out of the ball game. We talked about their ability to work at bats, and of course their bullpen has been outstanding this year. So if they fall behind, their bullpen's going to be putting up zeros and give their offense a chance.
It hit him. Bird trying to turn away, or is it a foul ball? Foul ball. No, it hit him. Bird was not going to go down, which may cause Buck Showalter some concern.
I don't think he's.
I still don't think he's going
right now. It's like it might have come right off the knob.
He's trying to figure out what to do. Girardi's talking to him. The home plate umpire's talking to him. Girardi wants to check the video.
So he's putting his stuff back on. Since he called it foul right away, kind of leading with the hands. And I'll tell you what, if that fastball catches his hands, he'd be doing a little bit more than.
Kind of heard the double hit that time as it hit the bat, hit the glove. So Greg Bird will stand back in. 0-1 count, foul ball. Bird has struck out and popped out. Break for Chen right there. Instead of getting that leadoff man on with a hit batter here to start the inning. 1 ball, 1 strike count with Murphy. Gregorius due up. Check swing again. That's going to be at the knees. Gray called strike.
Good pitch there. So fastball up and in off the knob for strike 1. Then working away.
Up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two delivery on the way, and that will be outside. You see that pitch count up at 96. It's going to be another day for the bullpen, despite the effectiveness of Chen. Orioles starters just not going deep into games, and he ultimately walks. So at 2 down, the first walk surrendered in the game by Chen. That's the potential tying run on for John Ryan Murphy, and Dave Wallace on the way to the mound.
So just the first walk, but the Yankees' ability to really jack his pitch count up. As Dave Wallace and Buck Showalter a little bit concerned. Get this.
Gibbons in the bullpen. Steve Molesky had numbers this morning. MASNsports.com. Orioles starters. As far as innings pitched are concerned, no Oriole pitcher's gone 6 innings in 8 straight games. The Orioles starters lead the American League with 67 starts of less than 6 innings this year. And Chen on the verge of adding to that, despite the fact he's got a 4-3 lead. Hard to believe he'll be coming back out in the 6th inning of this ball game.
Right, I think Buck weighs a lot of this into, or his decision making into how trying the innings are. And Yankees have kind of been making him work here last few innings.
Murphy a base hit, and he is struck out. John Ryan will foul that one off. So if the Pope came to visit New York, would he have to ask for an audience with John Ryan Murphy just because of his name? Oh, 1 count. It's a beautiful rhythmic name, John Ryan Murphy, and you just picture him starring in the Thornbirds as the priest. 1 ball, 1 strike count. They get back inside there, and it'll miss inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Murphy. Gregorius on deck. Gets a little dicey even with 2 down here in the 5th inning. Runner off first base and outside. So Chen working in and out on these Yankee hitters this inning, but not getting the corners. And falls behind again here. 3 ball, 1 strike count. He's got to get out of this inning to give himself a chance to be the winning pitcher.
Yeah, I think that's what Buck's concerned about here. He's been pretty quick with the trigger. Some of his starters, a lot to do with just frustration.
3-1 delivery on the way. Murphy belts it to right field. It is way back. Para, goodbye home run. And the Yankees have come back to take a 5-4 lead. John Ryan Murphy with a 2 RBI shot.
So Murphy getting the start today, filling in McCann. McCann establishing career highs in home runs, and Murphy picking up the slack here. 3-2 fastball, elevated, up and out over, and he gets on it. Keeps the front side closed and smokes one to right field. Short park over there, but a good target if you're behind.
3 home runs, 14 RBIs for the backup catcher. DIDI Gregorius will take the pitch away, and it's a big 2-out homer. So 3 runs in the inning, all coming off home runs. A-Rod's solo shot to open it, then with 2 down, that big walk to Bird. Gregorius will pop that one up third base. Foul territory, put away by Flaherty to end the inning. But just like that, the Yankees have come back. They get 3 runs on 2 hits, and they have a 1-run lead. Associations. Email mdfirevolunteer@gmail.com to volunteer with your local fire, rescue, and EMS. So the Yankees have come back and taken a 1-run lead in this ball game. Pineda settled in after the Orioles had their second inning, 4 runs, 5 hits batting around. Orioles have not had a base hit off Pineda since. They have had base runner with a walk, leadoff walk in the 4th inning, but that has been it over the last 3 innings.
Yeah, they really have to find a way to get back against Pineda here. More quality at bats, finding some holes, maybe some balls rolling in the outfield grass, because when the Yankees have a lead after 6 innings, they're 57-2. Their bullpen has been outstanding, and Chasen Shreve, who's warming up right now, has been one of the big reasons why.
So now it's the Orioles' turn to battle back. Paredes, a base hit, run scored, and he has struck out. Scope and REIMOLD due up for the Orioles. Swinging strike by Jimmy Paredes and an 0-1 count. 279, 10 homers, 42 RBIs. And Paredes now 5 hits, 8 at bats off Pineda. Gets that one in the air, left field. It's playable. Young able to track it down. 1 away in the 6th. Orioles and Yankees are going to close out the regular season. Fan Appreciation Weekend will be going on beginning Friday, October 2. Special events all weekend long. Postgame fireworks presented by John Hopkins Medicine on Friday. Orioles knit bomber hats for the first 20,000 fans, 15 and over on Saturday. And Steve Pearce Fans Choice bobbleheads presented by AT&T. First 25,000 fans, 15 and over on Sunday. It's the final weekend of the year. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD for tickets. Jonathan Scope, big home run, came in the 2nd inning, and he is popped out. Rondon 0-1 delivery. Jonathan, his 12th home run, picking up 3 of the RBIs in that 4-run inning when the Orioles got to Pineda, who was falling behind hitters, not getting first pitch strikes, all the things that make him ineffective. The Orioles took advantage of it, but he has recovered. That one will bounce 1-2.
Yeah, he has recovered. Getting right back into the zone, getting that movement on the 4-seam fastball. Slider, of course, considered probably his best pitch.
1-2. Over the top of that one and fouled it off. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Nowhere near a sellout today here at Yankee Stadium on this Labor Day. Busy day when folks, of course, a lot of them finish up their summer season at Water's Edge somewhere, many out on Long Island. 1-2 in the air to right. Beltran. Always used to say here in New York, Labor Day was the restaurant day of the year. Everybody comes back. They got to go back to work tomorrow. They finish up a summer. Nobody's got any food in the apartment or house. Everybody eats out. Tonight's a night when the restaurants generally do pretty well. Not that they don't otherwise. Here's Nolan Ryan with 2 down and nobody on. REIMOLD has been hit by a pitch and drawn a walk. And he will take the first pitch for a strike. Oh, 1-2 away. And the Orioles trying to find a way to get Pineda off the rhythm. Foul back, and he's up in the count 0-2. Buck Showalter's ball club not only trying to chase down a wild card spot, which is not going to be easy. They've got to get some wins to stay above 500 now on the year and stay ahead of Boston out of last place. Pitch will be taken up high for the ball. The Orioles are going to have to go 17-9 the rest of the way to have a winning season. 1 ball, 2 strike count. REIMOLD waiting on it, and that'll be bounced. Evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for the Orioles. I do still think they have their sights on making it to the postseason, even though chances are going to be very hard. Get J.J. Hardy back tomorrow, which will help stabilize the defense and maybe free up some other bats on the bench.
2-2 pitch on the way, up high. 6.5 games out of the second wild card spot. Yankees and Texas are currently the wild card teams. Problem for the Orioles: Minnesota, Angels, Rays, Indians, Seattle, White Sox are all ahead of them for a wild card spot. 3-2 delivery down to third, and that one is knocked down by Headley, but he's not going to get it. REIMOLD will pick up the infield hit with 2 down here in the 6th inning.
Nice play right there by Chase Headley, preventing extra bases. He gets his feet going, and nice diving stop down the third base line, but Nolan REIMOLD, he flies. The fastest guys you're going to see, and beats it easily. And I'm sure Headley even realized that when he came up to throw. A little courtesy throw right there.
So the Orioles had gone 12 batters between base hits. REIMOLD on at first base. Ryan Flaherty, he has singled, flied out. He got thrown out at the plate trying to score in that 2nd inning. And we'll take the pitch inside. Tried to come around on a Manny Machado infield hit that went off Headley's glove at third. Gregorius, the shortstop, backed it up and made the throw to the plate to get Flaherty trying to score from second. 1-0. And Pineda looking in on that one with the "where was that" stare.
Yeah, a couple borderline pitches, and Pineda, a shrug of the shoulders, a little hand gesture, questioning where the location was, and Murphy helping out with the long hold on that second pitch.
2-0. Flaherty may get one to hit right here. Good location, kept it down. 2-1 strikeout. Adam Warren, Jason Shreve in the bullpen. Flaherty, .250 lifetime hitter here in this ballpark at Yankee Stadium. He's had 2 career home runs. 2-1, runner off first, shift on in the infield, and a swing through a heater. Two down. REIMOLD at first, not going, and Flaherty fights it off. A foul ball trickled out of the batter's box.
You see, after that second inning where the Orioles only roughed him up, 29 pitches thrown, he's settled in and much more efficient. Well, a bit of a surprise that he's lasted this long after that rough second.
Comeback day. Boston now leads Toronto 5-2, and the Nationals and Mets are tied. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and another one fouled off, and that one hurt him.
It's the same pitch as 94-mile-an-hour cutters. Just zooming across the plate. Flaherty makes that cut second time in a row. He's beat one down off the foot.
Flaherty working this to a 7-pitch at bat. Again, a 2-2 delivery, and that's on the inside corner. So Pineda will pick up his 5th strikeout. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Coming out of the ballgame with a chance to win it. Now he's on the losing side.
Well, let's take a look at Wei-Yin Chen today. Had some pretty good stuff working early on. Slider at the top of the zone there. Some big strikeouts with the fastball. Rising up and out of the zone, and the slider been big here recently for Wei-Yin Chen. It was a very tough 5th inning. 2 home runs in the 5th. Knock him out of the ballgame. The breaking ball, use that slider and curve 33% of the time. It's 1 walk, 5 punch outs, but 4 earned runs for Chen. Now it's time for our AT&T call to bullpen. AT&T, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Well, let's take a look at Jorge Rondon's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 68% of the time, mid to high 90s with that heater. Breaking ball, the hard slider, and the change 6% of the time. On average, coming down, he's up over 10. He's been pitching much better. It's his latest recall to the Orioles. It's hitting 326. Lefty's way up to 400. The righties though at 290. He is a fly ball pitcher. 60% of his outs in the air.
And we'll get a pinch hitter immediately. Stephen Drew coming up. Drew will hit for Perella and move into second base. With the pitching change, so you get the righty lefty. Top of the order, Ellsbury and then Headley are due up. What's interesting is Drew's got a higher batting average against left-handers and right-handers. But he comes on when the change goes the other way. Going by the book, not by the numbers. 1-0 count. And that one will be in there for a strike.
One thing that Drew is at, he hasn't had the batting average all season long, but the power's been there. 17 home runs, only trailing Dozier from Minnesota. Home run category for second baseman.
Down to first, foul. He's put up a lot of extra base hits this year. 16 doubles, the triples, 17 homers. He's made up for a number of bases. Justin Wilson in the bullpen. Drew against the Orioles this year hitting .257. He's had a home run, but he's had 5 RBIs against the O's. Rondon's delivery will be up high. So the bullpen into play now. 5-9-0 for the Yankees, 4-6-1 for the Orioles. Chen will stay on the bench and be watching at least for a while. Big shift on against Drew, and he hits into it. Scope. That power arm.
Yeah, great arm, but even better feet on this play. Yeah, he's got to receive this ball way back. Many times he'll try to close some distance, but he's got a range to his right. As soon as that ball hits his glove, his feet got in a great throwing position. He's able to let that cannon go, pick up that first out.
JACOBY Ellsbury 0 for 3 in the ball game. Rondon last pitched in the Toronto series a couple of days ago in the 5th. 2 innings, no hits, 1 strikeout. And Ellsbury will take the pitch for a strike. Tight ball game. 5-4, bottom half of the 6th inning. Orioles had the early lead with a 4-run, 5-hit second inning. Yankees got on the board first with a run in the first. RBI by Chris Young. He got another RBI and a double in the 3rd inning. 4-2 ball game. And the Yankees came roaring back. In the 5th inning, A-Rod home run solo shot. Murphy 2 RBI homer. Chopper, this is going to be a tough play scope, and he can't make it. Had to hurry that with Ellsbury's speed.
Yeah, really a one-time type of play. The chopper to second base in a tough spot. See him beat it off the front of the plate there, and that second hop, Scope gets a little bit in between. Tries to time it with the glove. Should have kept that glove down just a little bit longer instead of starting with it up. Can't quite get in there, and Ellsbury on with the single.
So a 1-out single here in the 6th inning. Here is Headley, 2 runs scored, reaching on a single and an error. Difference in the ball game, an unearned run that Headley plated in the 3rd inning. And a skip of the feet on that one. It's down low for a ball.
Nice little pickup there by Caleb Joseph. Backhand stop on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Double play depth for the infield. And Don with a sidearm toss over to first base to Chris Davis. And a big swing and a miss. Cubs have jumped out to an 8-0 lead against the Cardinals. Joe Maddon's ball club hoping to get back Kyle Schwarber, who's had a ribcage strain. He's back in for the bat in the series against the Cardinals. 1-1. Another one. Challenging him, and he swings through another.
A couple of visible fastballs there, 94, 95 miles an hour, but challenges him on the plate. Pretty good pitches to hit. A little extra life there through the zone for Rondon.
One and two. Ellsbury not a big lead at first, not going, and the pitch will be up high. Oh, 1 ball, 2 strike count here in a 1-run game. A-Rod and Beltran, if they get that far, middle of the order for the Yankees. So Rondon trying to get a big second out here against Headley, the number 2 hitter. Throw over and an automatic tag on the back on that one. Brett Gardner normally would be in the 2 spot. 0 for his last 9, 7 for his last 34. Not getting a start in this game. That's why Headley's hitting second. 2-2, and that's outside. So a full count. Now do you send Ellsbury?
I think you do, unless they're concerned about Ellsbury's health, which could be they're watching out for.
See how Joe Girardi wants to play this with only 1 away and A-Rod on deck. 3-2, runner goes, and a foul back. Another long at bat. Headley's going to make it at least 7 pitches on this turn to the plate. Ellsbury, 17 stolen bases, 17 out of 25 for him this year. Gardner's got 1 more at 18 for the Yankees. Running again. Popped him up, third base. Down the line. And it'll fall in. A little Bermuda Triangle that time with REIMOLD, Machado, and Flaherty.
A tough sun over there on the left side of the field. Everybody protecting their eyes. See REIMOLD running with the glove up. He can't see the ball at all. Flaherty last second just kind of putting the glove out there in hopes of coming down with it.
So the at-bat continues for Headley. And Ellsbury, who's been on the go the last 2 pitches on this 3-2 count, 1 down, goes back to first. Why not? You might catch him leaning. Three-two, runner goes. Center field, Adam Jones. Will he try it first? Yes, he will. And a little off the mark as Ellsbury was all the way down to second. He came scooting back on Headley's fly ball out. That'll bring A-Rod up. He's delivered his home run in the game, number 29.
Now, oldest average age here. Position players on the active roster, and the Yankees trailing the Blue Jays, averaging 29 and 306 days. Dodgers, Rangers, and Mets also a very veteran team. And look at the bottom note there. The Yankees with 316 hits. Players 35 years or older. Of course, A-Rod enjoyed his 40th birthday this year.
Pitch will be there for a strike. How about the commonality? All of those teams, the oldest teams, are all playoff teams.
Gotta have that great mix, right, of the veteran players.
Yep. Very tough for a young team, 162 game season, to get there. 0-1 count, 2 away. A-Rod chops it to short. Manny Machado to second. Force out with Scope. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on base. 6 completed Yankee Stadium. 5-4 Yankees. Our Honda do-ups. Joseph, Machado, Parra.
More breaking balls in this ball game. Solid line after getting roughed up in the second inning where he gave up 4 earned runs. The 4 earned runs he gave up on the day lasted 6 innings. And now it's time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. Well, Justin Wilson coming in out of this Yankees bullpen. The fastball 95% of the time, 92 to 97 with the heater. 4-seamer and 2-seamer. We'll mix in a cutter off that fastball and the curveball mixed in as well. 4 wins with a 3.08 earned run average, 53 punch-outs in 49 2/3 innings of work, 18 walks on the year.
One of those wins came against the Orioles. 6th appearance against the O's for Wilson. He's given up 4 runs, 5 hits in 5 1/3 innings. Blew a save chance, but got a win. So we go to the 7th inning. Stephen Drew stays in the ball game at second base, and here is Caleb Joseph. Joseph a sacrifice, and he has flied out. Left-hander's delivery to him over the top will catch the outside corner for the strike. .256 off lefties, 10 points higher than off righties coming into the game for the Oriole catcher. Joseph will take the pitch. 5-10-0 for the Yankees, 4-6-1 for the Orioles. 1 unearned run off that error. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Our Orioles here finally enter last third of the ball game, you know, in fighting distance. Great opportunity here for the Orioles to tie this ball game up or obviously take the lead. Have those quality at bats though. The bats have been good in this game. They've shown the ability to lay bunts down and manufacture runs when they need to as well. So
down to third, fair ball, long throw, Headley again. Nice play beginning.
Some nice plays down there at third base. This time doesn't have to leave his feet to snag this one. Makes a difference when you get your feet underneath you. Much better throw there. Get Caleb by a step.
So a big first out. Top of the order, Manny Machado, 1 for 3. An RBI base hit came in the second inning. The Orioles still have only 1 hit since that inning. And the pitch will be away. Flying open on that delivery. And a 1-0 count. Wilson coming over from the Pirates in the Francisco Cervelli deal last November. 64th appearance for Justin Wilson, the left-hander. That will be foul back. And as you might expect, being a left-hander, he's made 64 appearances, but he's only worked 50 innings.
Yeah, pretty much used in that matchup role, lefty-lefty, and when you don't throw a lot of off-speed pitches, you're not putting as much strain, I guess, on the elbow. So
that one to center field is hit deep, way back. ELLSBURY at the wall, and goodbye, home run. And this ball game is tied. Manny Machado delivers the long ball here in the 7th inning with 1 out. And the Orioles come back to tie it up at 5 on his 27th of the year.
A great swing there from Manny Machado. He gets big out in center field here at Yankee Stadium. 408 feet. No way, that's a big ball.
That's why it's risky bringing a left-handed specialist in to try and go through a whole inning.
Well, Joe already had a few different pitchers up there in the last inning, and then sat them down and decided to come in with Justin Wilson.
And the pitch taken by Parra.
Take your chances when you're facing Manny Machado at the top. Great power hitting season. 27th home run here. Not a lot of lower half. Times it perfectly. That bat head gets through the zone lightning fast.
Only the 2nd home run Wilson has given up this year. And Manny Machado, the Orioles' 7th hit, knots it up here in the 7th inning. And for Lisa Rowe, our Maryland lottery contestant, a couple of home runs in this ball game worth $500 each. Scope and Machado. 1-1 delivery on the way. Back. Parra off the plate. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Parra on the year hitting about .290 against the lefties combined with the Orioles and the Brewers. Much higher than in previous seasons, and his career number. He has doubled in the ball game, 1 for 3. 2-1 pitch on the way, and he drills it into the glove of Greg Bird. Right place, right time defensively.
Taking a chance coming in there on Parra. He's chopped some balls down to the first baseman here. A rocket. Doesn't even have to move his feet. Just get a little lower and into the glove.
So 2 down. And another dangerous batter from Wilson's perspective. Here's Adam Jones. Adam has been one of the leaders against left-handers this year, hitting .292. 6 of his home runs against southpaws. And goes after another one right there, and a pitch tailing away. Adam has now played more games against the Yankees than anybody else on the Orioles roster. This is his 135th ball game against the New York Yankees. .270 lifetime average with 19 home runs off Yankee pitching. 0-1 delivery. Floater outside, 1-1.
Not a lot of breaking balls come out of the arm of Justin Wilson, so this team can really sit on the heater. File that breaking ball away until you get to 2 strikes. Look up and out over.
1-1 pitch. Right straight back on one he wanted to drive, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down, a run in on the home run by Manny Machado. Machado now has 4 home runs this year against the Yankees, 6 in his career. 1-2. And went up to try and get one. So Wilson will get the strikeout. Manny Machado the home run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. 7th inning stretch time. We are going to labor on in a 5-5 game. So a good one here in the Bronx to open up this 3-game set against the Yankees. Each team's had to battle from behind. And 5-5, it's 7th inning stretch time here at Yankee Stadium. Tomorrow, night game. Kevin Gausman, Masahiro Tanaka, 6:30 O's Extra, 7 o'clock for the game. And a night game on Wednesday as well. Valdo Jimenez, CC Sabathia scheduled to start 6:30 O's Extra, 7:05 for the game, and then the Orioles will be back home. So both of the starters end up ND'd. Chen left, could have been the loser. Pineda left, could have been the winner. And an ND will go in front of both.
A pretty good ball game. Both teams battling back, going back and forth, and of course the home run showing up for both as well. Manny picking up his big 27th home run to tie that ball game in the last inning. Coming down to the bullpens, and both bullpens considered a couple of the best in the game. As you look at Yankees, Bell and Betances.
So Betances comes in, maybe anyway, but certainly if the Yankees are able to get a lead. Rondon on the mound now, for the moment at least, the pitcher of record. Coming on, giving up a single in the 6th inning, but that was all. Put the flag way on top of Yankee Stadium with the sun at just the right angle, so it's right there at home plate. Plate umpire Glenn Fagan waiting on the clock here. And ready to go. Carlos Beltran will stand in, a base hit. He has flied out, struck out. Beltran gets turned around now and will bat left-handed, which also happens to be where the power is. 11 of his 14 home runs have been hit left-handed. Young and Bird due up. 1-0 pitch on the way is outside. Rondon will fall behind 2-0. With that, the Orioles go into the shift. Flaherty goes from 3rd to 2nd. Manny Machado stays on the left side.
Thinking being from here on out, probably just all hitters counts. Beltran, whose bat has started to heat up quite a bit, are going to be in pull mode.
36 walks, 75 strikeouts for Beltran this season. 3-0 count here. See if he takes. He does. And Rondon gets it in there for a strike, 3-1. Base hit, first inning is 1 for 3. Young, right-handed batter, then Bird, a lefty, due up. Brian Mattis warming up in the bullpen, and he walked him. So Rondon surrenders a leadoff walk, only the second the Yankees have picked up.
Take a look at largest difference in winning percentage versus teams above and below 500. Well, the Orioles teams above 500, not so good. 20-46 record. Under 500, playing very good baseball. 45 wins, 25 losses. That's a .340 difference. Well, this would be a huge win for this Orioles team after getting beat up all season long by teams above 500. They need to try to get back on track, and their goal now is to be a winning team in 2015.
Young trying to add to his successful day, takes the pitch inside for a strike. RBI single, RBI double, and he has grounded out. Young hitting over 340 now against the Orioles this year with 1 home run. Rondon with a runner on at first base. 0-1 delivery to third. That's going to be a base hit. So the first 2 Yankees are on here in the 7th inning. 3 for 4 day for Chris Young. And that will be it for Rondon. So he will work an inning plus. He charged with 3 hits, responsible for the 2 base runners. And now the depth of the bullpens with these September call-ups makes all these matchups possible. Brian Mattis, the lefty, will be on to face Greg Bird.
Of the time, throwing it in the low 90s, breaking ball, big curve, and the straight change 14% of the time for Mattis. He's been on a nice little roll. Then needs to lower that earned run average, 225 right now, 52 punch outs and 44 innings of work. With opponents down to a 196 overall average. Take a look at the lefties, just 143. He is a fly ball pitcher, 66% of his outs in the air.
Brian Mattis appearing for the 6th time against the Yankees this year. 1 run, 2 hits in 6 2/3 innings. And the first baseman, Greg Bird, will stand in. Bird has walked, scored, struck out, and popped out. He's done pretty well against the left-handers in the limited shots that he's had with the Yankees. 5 for 14 with a home run. Flaherty playing the bunt at third, nobody out. Runners at first and second base. Bird not squaring. Foul tips that one off the mitt of Caleb Joseph for a strike. Flaherty will stay in at third.
Yeah, he's definitely got to honor the bunt. So kind of turn himself a little bit. Gets a look at the runner at second base. And Machado going to keep him close just in case of a bunt attempt.
That's a strike. Caught the outside corner with that one. Yankees 2 for 7 today with runners in scoring position. Teams have had some chances. 7 left on by the Yankees so far. 0-2 pitch by Bryan. That ball in the air to right field. It's hit well. Way back and goodbye home run to the back of the bullpen. A 3 RBI homer for Greg Bird. And the Yankees lead it 8-5.
Well, it hasn't been just the veteran players that have helped propel the Yankees to the top of the American League East. A lot of the young players have stepped up as well. Bird, one of them. Good blast there off Brian Mattis.
Well, at least based on that at bat, those limited numbers against left-handers are true. The second home run off a lefty.
Breaking
the Yankees.
Staying up.
Murphy, who's had a home run in the ball game, fouls it off. That's the 3rd home run in the ball game for the Yankees. A-Rod, Murphy, and Bird. Michael Givens in the bullpen. So that's why the Yankees are winning without Mark Teixeira. They won with him, and winning without him, when you get production like they're getting from others in their lineup, like Bird. 8 runs on 12 hits now for the Yankees. Swung on and missed on one up and away. Bird, playing in his 22nd game, has had 5 home runs and 16 RBIs in 22 games. That's outstanding production.
And he's one of the reasons why they weren't as aggressive at the trade deadline. They felt like they had enough depth in the organization to go break the bank again in the free agent market.
It will make Rondon the pitcher of record for the Orioles. He's charged with 2 runs, 3 hits, and an inning plus. Matt is charged with the Bird run off that homer. 2 delivery on the way. Ground ball to third base. Flaherty reaching and gets the out. That is the first out here in the 7th. Follow the Orioles wherever you are. MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. At bat, up to the moment at any moment. In-game highlights, radio broadcast, replay reviews, and live look-ins. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. No, Rondon started the inning. That walk to Beltran, that's always bad news. Followed by the young single out of the ball game for Mattis, and Bird gets the homer.
Well, you wonder, as much as this bullpen has been getting used, Buck's trying to stretch some guys out a little bit in these type of situations. Even though there are plenty of arms down there in the Orioles bullpen, he was asking Rondon to go a couple innings, and he just couldn't do it.
Yep.
Got to test guys sometimes. Buck certainly knows what these guys are capable of with the reports from the minor leagues. We'll get recalled back up here to the major leagues, but it's just out of necessity, needing to eat up some innings. I mean, there have been some short outings. We've talked about that. Seems like every night about the rotation coming out of games too early, and especially in Toronto, a couple early exits.
And only 5 innings in the game by Chen.
Yeah.
I mean, today. Not enough. Here's Gregorius, a 2-0 count, 1 away. DiDi Gregorius takes the pitch inside. A base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Infield will move around on the shift. It's the Yankees using the long ball. 5 home runs combined, 3 for the Yankees and 2 for the Orioles. Scope and Manny Machado. 3-0 pitch on the way, and gets that one in there for a strike. 1 down. Gregorius trying to keep it going against lefties. 246. 25 points lower than against righties. 3-1 delivery, and he showed bunt and will take a strike. Not a particularly bad idea right there.
Yeah, just kind of was probably going to take the whole time anyway, but get the pitcher to see some movement, and that might disrupt his delivery, get him out of the strike zone.
Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way. Davis will race to the bag and win it. Gregorius is retired. 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 8 runs, 12 hits. The Yankees, 5 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Orioles. Brian Mattis will face Stephen Drew. Came on to pinch hit, grounded out, stayed in the ball game at second base. Drew 232, as we said, off left-handers. Little better number than against right-handers. Mattis, a pitch to him, will be up high for a ball. Drew an 0 for 8 lifetime against this Orioles left-hander. One ball, 1 strike count. Betances ready. Set up man, closer if needed. But you got Miller finishing out ball games. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Into the screen for a 1 ball, 2 strike count. For Bryant Mattis, the 4th home run that he has surrendered this season. 4 home runs, 45 innings pitched. Oliver Drake now in the bullpen for the Orioles. Came in on him and gets him. So the strikeout recorded to end the inning, but the damage done, a walk, a single, and a 3-run homer by Greg Bird. 7 complete, 8-5 Yankees. Two hits take the lead.
And let's take a look at Dellin Betances' pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 48% of the time, 95 to 99 with the heater, but the breaking ball 52%. He loves it. Nasty curve, power curve ball, 140 earned run average. 8 saves, is that 11 opportunities this year, but 109 punch outs in 70 2/3 innings leads the way. Major League Baseball relievers, opponents hitting just 149 overall off Betances.
So the Orioles try and bounce back again here in the 8th inning. Davis, Paredes, and Scope will be due up against Betances. Betances this year against the Orioles is 1-0 and 1-1 in save situations. No runs, 4 hits, 9 1/3 innings pitched against the Orioles this season. Davis 1 for 7 lifetime off the big right-hander. And the pitch is in there for a strike. So Justin Wilson goes an inning, a run on a hit with 1 strikeout, the home run by Machado. But could be the winning pitcher in the ball game. 0-1 delivery, and Davis will swing through the 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Another big arm coming out of this Yankees bullpen, and Betances and Miller have been pretty dominant 1-2 punch on the back end.
0-2 delivery on the way. The bullpen is ranked 6th overall. Much of that ERA comes, as Mike says, from the middle of the bullpen. More strikeouts than any other bullpen in the American League. They average over a strikeout per inning. And that pitch will miss. So Betances evens it up, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Zach Britton has got a pitch today. 2-2 delivery on the way. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. So a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Davis. Did we figure Britton hasn't worked in 4 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5. There was an off day mixed in there as well. So.
Didn't work in Toronto. Had an off day before that. 3-2 delivery and walked him. So the Orioles get what they needed. A leadoff walk here in the 8th inning. Davis, 2 walks in the game. He scored in the 1st inning when he drew a free pass.
It's a bat right there by Chris Davis. Trying to do too much. Get yourself on base. Take your chances.
We'll bring Paredes up. He's 0 for 2 off Betances. Single, strikeout, flied out. Paredes now with a 5-game hit streak he's extended in this game. And he too will take a pitch. It's going to be away. Well, the Orioles try and make a run at it here in the 8th inning. Paredes during the 5-game hit streak, 6 hits, 15 at bats. 1-0 delivery by Betances will be outside. 2-0. Joe Girardi starts to walk, talking to Larry Rothschild in the dugout after that last pitch. Like, what's this?
Well, you wonder if Betances is ever going to run out of steam. He gets used quite a bit the last couple of years in the top 10 games by a reliever.
Not close. Count goes to 3-0. The Orioles trying to get the potential tying run to the plate. Infield will back up even more in the 3-0. You got to believe he takes here. They need the base runners. He does, and that's walk number 2. So Betances starts the 8th inning with back-to-back walks, and Rothschild is going to take a little walk himself.
A lot of times that pitchers attacking this Orioles lineup understand that it's an aggressive team, but recently, after being challenged by Scott Coolbaugh about too many chases down in the dirt, they've been much more patient at the plate. You haven't seen them swinging at a lot of balls down there, and back-to-back quality at bats from Davis and Paredes.
Well, Betances makes it interesting. Jonathan Scope already has drilled one.
Now 3-run shot. Fastball missing up and in, and he gets the head to it. Big blow right there for the Orioles.
He will stand in with runners on at first and second base. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. Orioles 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position. And a bender that is going to be in there for a strike. Breaking ball. Gets the true Bronx cheer. 0-1. Scope 1 for 3. A home run off Betances. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. Jonathan will take it. That too is there for a strike. He thought it was low. There's a couple of pitches where he's throttled back off the fastball.
Yeah. He throws a lot more breaking balls than the fastball, believe it or not. Take a look at Jonathan Scope's power zone. What might change after that last home run? Up and in was a spot where you can really get Jonathan Scope to swing and miss, but he got to it there.
And doesn't get to that one. 1 out.
Well, 3 breaking balls in a row, and it appeared that all 3 were different. First one up in the zone, next one at the bottom, and this one he just buries down and out of the zone at 85 miles an hour. Jonathan Scope just swinging over the top of that late breaker.
Nolan REIMOLD hit by a pitch, scored in the 2nd inning. He has walked and singled. He has not faced Betances before. Davis at second, Paredes at first. Again, pretty good movement on that pitch and a strike. So Betances trying to recover here in the 8th after walking the first 2. Got that one in there. Two-strike count. And REIMOLD on 1 down and away at 86.
When he gets ahead, he can be dominant. 1, 2, 3. Another Orioles hitter down on 3 pitches and a nasty slider down at the bottom of the zone.
So Ryan Flaherty comes up. Flaherty, a strikeout, has flied out and has picked up a single. Tonsis now with 2 Ks and 2 walks in the inning. Flaherty 1 for 5 off the right-hander. And that pitch will miss inside for a ball. Betances against the Orioles now in 10 innings pitched has 14 strikeouts, including the 2 in this inning. About what he does to everybody else. 1-0 delivery, that'll be in the dirt. Nice stop made by Murphy to hold the runners. 2-0.
Some good takes here. Once again, bouncing a couple sliders there. Flaherty not flinching. Setting the sights up in the zone. You're not going to hit a Betances breaking ball if it's down. You have to see it up. Hope it flattens out up there.
Two away. Davis at second. Paredes at first. Flaherty will take another one inside. And he gets ahead on the count, 3-0. Tonsis had only issued 3 walks to the Orioles in those first 9 1/3 innings pitched. He may issue that many in this inning. .30 delivery. Flaherty taking all the way and walked him 4 straight, and the Orioles have loaded him up. Oh, son of a gun. And Caleb Joseph is coming up. Caleb is due. Laid down a great sacrifice to set up a run. Has flied out, got robbed of a hit by Headley at third base. Bases loaded, 2 away, 8th inning. Yankees lead at 8-5. Caleb is 1 for 2 off Betances. Joseph after the first pitch for a strike.
Caleb's really good about setting his sights to right center, and if he's going to have any chance of hitting that slider, that's where he's got to think. Drive it that way in the gap. It'll keep that front shoulder closed a hair longer.
That one moved back in after Joseph moved away. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Breaking ball that'll bounce. And a 1-2 strike count on Caleb Joseph. Betances loading him up with 3 walks in the inning. Also has 2 strikeouts. Yankees got the lead last half inning on the Bird 3-run homer. Orioles with a chance to get it back. 1-2. Joseph the other way. Caleb this year is 3 for 5 with the bases loaded. All 3 hits have been singles, and he has picked up 6 RBIs in these situations.
He wouldn't mind a lousy single right here. Flip this lineup over the top.
One, 2. Two ball, 2 strike count. Tonsis has had to throw 25 pitches here in the inning. That's about 10 more than Joe Girardi would like to have seen. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Caleb will take it outside, and the count is full again. No place to put him with 2 outs.
Command can get a little off kilter at times. Over 3.5 walks per 9. We talked about the strikeouts. 14 per 9 innings. But right now,
3-2, runners go, and he struck him out. So Betances, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. No runs, no hits, and 3 are left on base. It remains an 8-5 ball game. Kevin Gausman takes the mound against Masahiro Tanaka. Game 2 of the 3-game set. Coverage on MASN 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Jeep. Game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Zach Britton now into the ball game. Hasn't worked for a while. He needs to get on the bump again. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 91% of the time. Tremendous fastball, late movement, mid-90s with the heater. Occasional breaking ball mixed in there. 4 wins, 2.0 earned run average, 30 saves, and 33 opportunities, holding opponents down to a .225 batting average. That ground ball percentage, that is the key for Zach Britton. 80% of his outs on the ground.
Well, the Orioles have made a defensive change here, which may be of some concern. Steve Pearce has come on to play in right field, and Parr has moved to center. Adam Jones appeared to have a wrist or hand problem in an at-bat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take him out of the ball game here unless there's something wrong. And the pitch is taken for a strike. So Zach Britton working here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. JACOBY ELLSBURY 1 for 4. Oh, delivery on the way. We are told Adam Jones has come out with right shoulder soreness.
Make a couple long throws, but it seemed like after every swing he was shaking out that right wrist or hand, but maybe that was all just part of the shoulder pain.
0-2 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss. Made quick work of ELLSBURY, 1 down. We've talked about infield hits off Britton this year.
Yeah, well, 16 infield hits allowed this season. He only had 10 all of last season, so he's a little frustrated, and he said that. It's a little more frustrating, but I'm just trying to work on fielding everything I can, not having to rely as much on Manny or CD, and letting them get to the bag or whatever it takes. And so he wants to improve on fielding. As a matter of fact, one of his most recent outings, there were a couple infield hits, and he just went out and started working on, fielding ground balls, getting off the mound a little bit quicker. He has given up 108 ground balls this season, only in 54 innings. So he's aware of the fact that he needs to help himself out a little bit. Take a look at this list. Zach Britton leading the way. Infield hits allowed, 7.5 percentage by batters faced, minimum of 200 batters. So that's a big number there for Zach Britton, and very few times he has been had one of those save opportunities spoiled is because of those little infield hits.
2 strikeouts here. That'll take care of any infield hit. A little argument by Headley with a home plate umpire, but he heads off.
Joseph setting up inside. Fastball 98 miles an hour. Come back a little bit. Let's see the overhead view. It's close. Caleb Joseph receives it well, though.
So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's A-Rod, home run, 1 for 4. Got his 29th, leading off the 5th inning of the ball game. Rodriguez is 5 for 11 off Britton. It is a save situation for the Yankees, and Andrew Miller, the closer, in the bullpen. 1-0 delivery. In fairness to Britton, his fielding is not bad. It's just, as Mike says, with that tremendous sinker, the ball gets pounded right down into the earth in front of home plate, doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and there have been balls probably close enough to Zach Britton that he could potentially have fielded, but sometimes just your mechanics, how you deliver the ball and finish your delivery, you just don't land right. So he wanted to get into the habit of really exploding towards the baseball after he finished his delivery, at least have an awareness of fielding a baseball after his delivery, and then reacting both the first base line and the third base line.
1 ball, 1 strikeout on Rodriguez. Towards second, backhanded scope, and records the out. So Britton comes on, retires the side in order. The Orioles are down by 3. 9th inning, top of the order, due up. By Coons.com. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Gary Thorne and Mike Wardick. We go to the 9th inning, game 1 of 3. Orioles down by 3.
Orioles need to put up a 3 spot. It's going to be tough against one of the best closers in the business right now, Andrew Miller. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 47% of the time, 92 to 97 with the heater. Breaking ball, the hard sweeping slider, 53% of the time. 1.80 earned run average, 31 saves and 32 opportunities, 77 punch-outs in 50 innings of work for Miller. And take a look at the opponent batting average, 153 overall. Righties 134, lefties not much better at 229.
Against the Orioles this year, he's 5 for 5 in saves. 5 2/3 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 9 strikeouts and 1 walk. So Miller on to try and pick up a win for the Yankees. Justin Wilson could win this game, would be 5-0. He pitched an inning, gave up a run, but was at the right place, right time. Rondon could take the loss, and it would be his first major league decision if it ends up that way. Manny Machado, 1-0 count. Home run, single, 2 RBIs. Due for 4 in the ball game. Miller's pitch to him will be in there for a strike. Machado 0 for 3 off Miller. Strike on the outside corner. Real battle. Both teams had to come back from deficits in the game. The Orioles had a 4-1 lead at one time, 4-2. Yankees came back, took a 1-run lead. Orioles came back, tied it. And then the Yankees got 3 in the 7th on Greg Bird's 3-run homer. First baseman for the Yankees.
Another one of those 2-strike home runs. Seen a lot of those this year.
Big pitch inside to get him.
Now, Andrew Miller's slider is pretty devastating. On first strike, he throws a slider. It starts in the Yankees dugout, comes back and catches the inside corner. This one looks good, but it just eats him up inside, drops down and in, almost catching that back foot.
Orioles have struck out 10 times in the ball game. The Yankees have struck out 8. Here is Parra with Steve Pearce waiting on deck with Jones out of the game. Parra's got a 1 for 4 double picked up in the 2nd inning. Jonathan Scope and Machado with the home runs in the game for the Orioles. Check swing. 1 around. Jerry Meals at third.
Shadow's tough on everybody right now. Look at Parra's swing. Pretty close.
Machado 2 RBIs, Scope 3 on the homer. 0-2 pitch on the way and reached. Not this time. Wei and Chen, 5 runs, 4 earned, 9 hits over 5. The Orioles started. And Pineda gave up 4 runs, 6 hits over 6. 1 big inning against him, the second, when the Orioles got 4 runs and 5 hits. 1-2 delivery. Rolls over. Drew. 2 down. And as promised earlier in the game, we selected the Danner Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to O's Couch Cam. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. So Steve Pearce will get his first at bat. Comes on for Adam Jones with the sore shoulder, who had an 0 for 4. 2 down, 9th inning, nobody on. Pearce an 0 for 3 off Miller. Miller looking to go 32 for 33 in save opportunities.
Now Miller missed most of June and part of July with a forearm strain.
Into the seats.
Joe Girardi's kind of been using him just for the 1 inning. There were times earlier in the season where they get extended to pick up more than just the 3 outs in the 9th. Be careful here with Miller going down the stretch.
2 ball, 1 strike count on Pearce. Mets going back on top of Washington 8-5. They're in the 9th inning of their game. Boston's beating Toronto 11-4 in the top of the 9th inning at Fenway. And he walked him. The Yankees trying to win a ball game that might put them back to just a half game behind Toronto. 2 down, 1 on here in the 9th inning. Labor Day filled with baseball around the country. Chris Davis up with 2 away. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike. Chris 1 for 9, a home run off Andrew Miller.
You're a lefty facing Andrew Miller. You have got to be fearless. And the only way you're going to hit his slider is the one that's going to be starting off at you.
They give Pierce second base. He'll take it. No stolen base. The infamous defensive indifference. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Miller's delivery to him. That's towards the gap. Going to fall in for a base hit. ELLSBURY will get it. Pierce will come around to score. And the Orioles are going to get the potential tying run to the plate in the 9th inning with 2 down as they make it an 8-6 ball game.
And it really doesn't matter who you throw up there against Chris Davis. When he's hot, he'll hit anybody. Take a look at this slider. Oh my goodness. Starts off behind him. He stops that front side and pulls the hands through. Impressive piece of hitting right there.
His 101st RBI. Steve Pierce setting Chris up with that 2-out walk. Now here is Paredes. A walk, a single, flied out, struck out. And a swing and a miss on Miller. Paredes 0 for 1 in the only at bat he's had against this left-hander. See the shadows moving halfway out. All 10 of Paredes' home runs against right-handers. 0-2. Pitch on the way. Strike him out. Play it first. Game over. So the Yankees will win the opener. Wilson in relief 5-0. Rondon in relief 0-1. Miller gets his 32nd save. Took 3 hours and 10 minutes here in New York. And the Orioles are now 5 wins, 9 losses against the Yankees.